All right, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome and good morning to our Week 8 Sunday morning live stream for the next 2 hours plus. I'll be answering your guys' questions for all things related to Week 8, setting your lineups, and of course, helping you win your Week 8 matchups so we can ever so slightly continue the marathon of trying to capture a 2022 Fantasy Football Championship. Of course, as you can see to the right of me, like we typically have every Sunday morning, we have rankings up to date for all 4 primary positions. Again, it is going to be as status quo. If you have a question in regards to which tight end to play, which quarterback to play, it's on the right side of the screen. Running back within their own position. If you got 2 running backs and you're, in between both of them, you don't know whether you want to play, for example, D'Onta Foreman or Eno Benjamin, the rankings on the screen should give you guys my personal opinion on the matter, which either will help you or not help you at all. And, you'll continue as such. But either way, that is the schedule for today. Of course, a couple injury, pieces of news in regards to somehow, some way, DK Metcalf might play today. I don't know what's going on. I, of course, on my phone over here, I'm watching the Denver versus Jacksonville game. Of course, Russell Wilson luckily was able to put together a scoring drive just a couple moments ago, which is fantastic. But either way, let's get into it, shall we? First and foremost, while I only have about 90 of you in here, I just want to answer some of the chat questions and trying to get them ready to go. I know Tay Thompson earlier on in the stream was asking for kicker rankings. We'll get there once we get a little bit more, a little bit more momentum. Let's give it a couple minutes and then we'll talk about kicker and defensive rankings for Week 8. Let's see here. Okay, so Jamie was asking a question saying, flex, Cooks, Curtis Samuel, Monty, or Wan'Dale Robinson. Guys, again, if you're going to do me a favor, one thing you just got to do today. Actually, there's 2 things you got to do. First and foremost, you got to hit the like button down below. That'd be greatly appreciated first and foremost. The second thing is if you're going to ask a question, please include your scoring format because that is a huge difference maker as to whether I'm, suggesting to go with Brandon Cooks or whether I'm suggesting you go with David Montgomery. They're basing, on that scoring format principle. So please let me know. Thank you. What other question was there? Ander says, which 2 wide receivers would you go with out of these potential 4 options? Ander, considering you have Michael Pittman, Gabriel Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Michael Gallup, I'm playing Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gabriel Davis there. Whether it's full or half PPR format, I feel very comfortable with both those options. Even in a standard league, I think they're the first and foremost guys that I'd like to play out of that bunch. David Ramos says, I can't bench Pitts. Help. LOL. I have Freiermuth. Yeah, you should be playing Fryer today, David. Even if Kyle Pitts... Okay, how about this, David? Do us all the favor. We're all going to start Kyle Pitts. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to bench him. And because of that seesaw effect, you're going to allow us to get fantasy relevance out of him. Thoughts? Maybe you're the bad luck. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously, you probably should sit Pitts. It's not the greatest of matchups. And quite frankly, he hasn't been getting enough target counts for me to even suggest that in any sort of capacity in comparison to Freiermuth this week. Cam had sent in a question or just typed in the chat and said, Pittman or Amon-Ra St. Brown? Yeah, I feel extremely confident with Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. Again, the only reason, guys, that he hasn't been relevant for 4 consecutive weeks is just injuries, right? If it's not injuries, the dude is him. He's a ridiculous player. He's one of the best receivers in the league in terms of fantasy purposes. So do not get it twisted. All right, Mark has sent in a donation. I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you very much. He said Lockett, McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, David Montgomery, and Singletary PPR flex. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me go to my PPR rankings and let's see what we have here for those available players. So we're looking at McLaurin, Cooks, Singletary. Okay, so let me control F here. Let's find Lockett first and foremost. So we have Lockett there. Okay, and then where is Okay, yep. And then we have McLaurin. Okay, so as of right now, I actually prefer to roll with Montgomery and Singletary. Those are the 2 guys I'm going with there. Is Russell Wilson going to cook, or is he just throwing in completions? Incompletions. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Carl in the chat was saying Brian Robinson or Eno Benjamin in a full PPR. I prefer to play Eno Benjamin. There's more receiving upside there potentially. I know, the rushing attempts are certainly going to be in the favor of Brian Robinson at the end of the day, but ultimately I don't think that's going to play a big factor when Eno Benjamin, quite frankly, has just as good, if not a better matchup. And the last time we saw him against New Orleans, played fantastic. Country said good morning and good luck today. Yeah, thank you. Again, all of us are going to need that extra fantasy luck. Hope those extra variables go in our direction. A couple of those calls go our way. Come on, Russell. Complete a pass, baby. Come on. There you go, Judy. Edward said Eno or Rhamondre. Again, yeah, Rhamondre Stevenson. As you guys can see on screen, I am very much so confident in his ability. That's what I'm expecting to see. Speaking of expectation, Satoshi was asking, are we expecting 40 plus points this week from Henry in a PPR? Are we expecting it? No, but would we love to see that? Absolutely. I think the expectation of a safe week this week from Derrick Henry is probably 25 fantasy points, especially considering they're using the rookie quarterback. I mean, Malik Willis, of course, he does have the ability to run the ball, but I can assure you there is going to be far more of a commitment to just turning and handing it off to Derrick Henry than we think. So I'm expecting at least 25, 30 carries from Derrick Henry. And the way he typically does, he's probably going to have himself a couple breakout runs here against Houston's defense, who really cannot stop anybody, much less him. So yeah, I think 25 is a very safe base floor in that capacity. And then 40 is the upside week, which would be, of course, fantastic to see. I have to play Derrick Henry in a couple weeks here, or in a couple leagues here, mainly my home league. I'm going up against him this week, so just hoping for the best and that he doesn't go for a massive destructive week. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. All right, let me see some of these other ones. Good morning, King James. How's it going? Logan said, would it be crazy to start Najee Harris over Rhamondre in a full PPR? I think it would. Mainly because we haven't seen enough of a offensive upside in terms of the running game from the Steelers all year long. And the fact that they play against Philly, I know it can be at times a decent matchup in terms of running the ball. I just don't know if they'll be in the game script to be able to run the ball at the capacity that they want to. Last week, there's a reason why, Najee Harris got himself 20 touches. Is because, the Miami Dolphins couldn't put them away in any sort of capacity. They went forward on fourth. They didn't take those easy field goals that would have forced them to throw the ball far earlier in that second half. I think the Eagles are no joke, and they're certainly going to mount a pretty sustainable lead, which will force Pickett in this offense to throw for a majority of that second half. And we know Najee doesn't get enough of that receiving work to keep him in that, conversation. So yes, I would continue to play Rhamondre. Again, he in the last 2 weeks, he's been the number 5 and the number 1 overall running back in terms of half PPR at the end of the week. So pretty good, contributions there. I see a couple donations were sent in. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Just want to answer a couple more of these questions in the chat. Matthew Crawl says Tyler Boyd season. Yes, that's for sure. Christopher says Brandon Ayuk or Tyler Lockett in a standard league. I'm going to go with Ayuk. Again, Tyler Lockett, as you guys can see to the right of me, Tyler Lockett and him and DK Metcalf both have a bracket with a Q inside of it, meaning questionable. I am not 100% certain as to whether they're even going to play today. Obviously, the assumption is that they'll both be active. But, again, they play in the afternoon, and you never know. The weather may be a factor if, in fact, it is raining to a capacity in which they don't feel comfortable playing these two guys. You never know. Nothing's a guarantee. So that's kind of the situation that we're sitting in. I feel comfortable where I have them ranked in comparison to other prospects, specifically at the wide receiver position. But going forward, that should kind of give you an idea. Gallo says ETN is a beast. Yeah, he's absolutely a beast. I mean, the unfortunate nature of this offense is that, Jacksonville is probably not as good as other offenses. And when they get down to that goal line, we would have loved to have seen them go to like a pitch play off the edge. But instead, they run him up the middle. He goes down for -2 yards. He very easily should have had a touchdown already today. Why is Irv Smith so high? Mainly because of the matchup. Arizona gives up 16 points per game to opposing tight ends on average thus far. Eno Benjamin or Ayuk in a half PPR? That's a great question, Thomas. Let me check. Right now, I have Ayuk. I'm going to assume a little bit higher than him. Mainly because I have him filling in for Debo. Okay, let's see here. So Ayuk is there and Eno is there. Yeah, I have Ayuk slightly ahead of him in a half PPR. Okay, let me go ahead and, again, thank you guys for joining us this morning. If you guys haven't yet already, do me a favor, scroll down below, click that like button. Greatly appreciated. Outside of that, the rankings are on the screen to the right of me. If anything changes within the next 2 hours here, I'll of course be updating that and giving you guys an indication. I'm going to be answering some questions that were sent in via donation. So hopefully, by proxy of answering those questions, maybe it gives you some insight on some of the questions you're wondering. After I finish answering those, I'll come back into the chat. We'll answer those. We'll talk about top 10 defenses and kickers in just a moment. But otherwise, that's the schedule for today. We're going to be answering questions for 2 hours straight. So hopefully, you catch a straight question answered somehow, some way, and I know there's a lot of you wanting me, but we'll get there. Also, if you guys haven't yet checked them out, be sure to check out Prize Picks. If you sign up today and you want to play daily fantasy, again, there was a lot of picks that I went over yesterday specifically. If you haven't checked out yesterday's live stream, you go to about 1 hour and 6 minutes into it. I go on a 10-minute rant on potential entries that you can make for this weekend. So go ahead, check out the link down in the description, use promo code Andrew, and when you make a first-time deposit, you'll be given a first deposit match up to $100. Check that out. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into this, shall we? Answer some questions. So, Mr. Trace 05 says, full PPR, pick one: AJ Dillon, Khalil Herbert, Raheem Blackshear. I would play Khalil Herbert. I know that they're going to utilize him more. I know that they're going to probably be in a situation where they're going to have to line him up outside, maybe use him as a receiving option, and with that, probably gets him a lot of value. Now, that being said, Blackshear is a really good receiving back. He has a really good natural instinct to catch the ball. But at this point, I feel pretty comfortable just rolling with Khalil Herbert, knowing that he's going to get ample opportunity. Russell just lets it rip and almost throws a pick. All right, so for right now, yes, I'm going to go with Herbert there. Thank you. Moving on. The pace on says, full PPR. I have the Sun God starting as my wide receiver position. Okay, great. What other wide receiver would you start, Pittman or Boyd? I would play Boyd. Mainly because I know the commodity at quarterback and I know the volume of opportunity that we're going to potentially see today, right? Because Sam Ehlinger, in my mind, is such a question mark still to this moment, I'm not as comfortable starting him in comparison to, Tyler Boyd specifically up against, relatively advantageous matchup with Burrow and Jamar Chase being out. Russell Wilson heaves the ball, and there's no one even near him. What are we doing? Russell. What was that? Anyway, so yes, I'd play Boyd over Pittman today. Thank you. Dylan sent in a question. Says, I need a flex for this week in a PPR. Knox, Jeff Wilson Jr., or Blackshear. You know what? To be honest, if I go check my rankings, I'm not going to be surprised if Knox is the highest guy out of those potential three options. Let me see here. Jeff Wilson. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, it's going to be Dawson Knox as of right now. I think Jeff Wilson could get some utilization. Probably not going to get any receiving work. Probably won't see more than maybe 6-7 rushing attempts because Christian McCaffrey will be at a full capacity now. And McCaffrey's probably going to dominate about 15 of those attempts on the ground. So maybe at very best, Jeff Wilson could get himself like 50 rushing yards. If he gets lucky, a touchdown. But quite frankly, I think it's far too risky. And then Blackshear, most likely considering, he's not going to see that many touches. Sure, in the receiving game, he'll get a couple snags here and there, but it's not going to be enough, in my opinion, to potentially outscore the upside of which, Dawson Knox can present to us this week. So we greatly appreciate it to just roll in the direction of Knox, and let's hope the man figures it out. Evan sends in a question, says, Mooney, Gallup, Claypool, Elijah Moore. Okay, so I will mention this again. I was talking about this a little bit yesterday during our live stream. I don't trust any New York Jets wide receivers today. So you will not hear me suggesting Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios in any sort of capacity, mainly because I don't trust the quarterback there. Again, one of the main variables as to whether a wide receiver is going to produce at a higher capacity than others is obviously opportunity, and a lot of those opportunities have to be accurate. And quite frankly, we haven't seen enough targets in the direction of those wide receivers, and Zach Wilson hasn't been an accurate enough quarterback to trust him. I mean, right now, I think thus far this season, he's at like a 57% passing completion percentage. It's not enough to get the job done, unfortunately. So that should just answer that. But as for the rest of your question, Evan, Claypool, Gallup, Mooney, I would go Gallup, Claypool, Mooney, mainly off the expectation that Noah Brown doesn't play today. If Noah Brown is inactive, which I'm assuming because he didn't practice all week to a capacity, Gallup will be the number 2, and Noah Brown having the most targets amongst all receiving options for Dallas last week would be spread apart the other options. So at this point, I'm leaning in the direction of just going Gallup, Claypool, Mooney, Elijah Moore. Thank you. Drew says, just sent you a message on Discord. Too long to type here. It depends though. Are you on my? Yeah, you should be on my friends list, Drew. Yeah, what am I saying? I just didn't recognize the last name. The thing is, Drew, I gotta open up Discord and hopefully it doesn't crash my computer. While I let that load up, Ahmed sent in a question. Ahmed E says, Hunt plus Waddle for Juju plus ETN. PPR, I have McCaffrey, Jacobs. Okay. Who else do you have? You have Walker, Gordon, Tyreek, Reynolds, Taysom. So so you want Waddle and Hunt, and you're gonna trade away ETN and Juju Smith? Huh. At this point, I don't know if I want to trade away ETN, and I don't know if Hunt is going to be traded to the point where he'll be a valuable enough pickup. But I mean, you do have running back options. I just don't know if I want to make that move. I mean, if you have Christian McCaffrey, Jacobs, and Walker, I understand it, but I feel like ETN should be able to bring back more. If you were going ETN straight up for Waddle, I'd be okay with it. But the fact that you have to give up Juju as well, it just kind of bothers me in a capacity there, Ahmed. All right, Drew, let me see what your question was. All right, Drew. So it says, so I didn't go with, okay. Irv Smith off the, okay. Sounds good. Perfect. No, I mean, Irv Smith would be the next up under the assumption that Darren Waller doesn't play, Drew. The whole thing now is, let me check. Do we have an indication? Let me see here. So the Raiders play at 10 a.m. So in about 2 hours here, the Raiders will play. But when does Irv Smith play? Irv Smith plays with the Vikings, but where the heck is their game? It also starts at 10 a.m. Okay, yeah. So Drew, if we get an indication that Darren Waller's active and going, yeah, I'd love to play him. If he's not, again, the reason why I have him where I have him ranked on screen right now is because I don't even know if he's gonna play. That's why I have him questionable, and I've moved him down to a capacity 2. If, in fact, he does play, we've talked about this, I would want to start him. If he doesn't, then at that point, Irv Smith is the guy, and he's a pretty good option for you this week. Thank you. All right, let me go ahead, do that. Moving on. Isaac sent in a question. Isaac says, Brandon Ayuk or Foreman in a full PPR? I'd roll with Brandon Ayuk this week. Ayuk is in a really advantageous position to have himself a pretty big week here filling in for the Debo role. The volume of targets, Waller's out. Really? When was that? Okay, hold up. Thank you for letting me know, guys. All right, let's see this. When was that spoken into existence? I'm going to Twitter. Hold up. One moment. Waller is inactive today. All right, so we're playing Irv Smith just like that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to update the rankings on screen. Just so I can get Waller off there and I can add another tight end. So I'm going to do that right now. Thank you for letting me know. Good. When did this tweet come out? This tweet was literally 6 minutes ago from Adam Schefter. Good. All right. There you go. You guys are on top of it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. Come on, Photoshop. Photoshop's going to crash my computer, guys. Here we go. We're going to speed run a quick stream here right into a crashed computer. Hopefully not, but we'll see. All right, so now that we have that open, let me go ahead and let me get my tight end rankings. So if we get Waller out of there, I guess Foster Moreau has some sort of value, some semblance of value, but not enough for me to want to play him in that capacity this week. So I'm just not going to. We will probably go that way. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's copy that. Paste that. Boom. All right. File, save as. Okay, so in a moment now, the rankings on screen will be up to date with Darren Waller no longer on the list. And with that, we will be in a perfect position to continue and not slow down. All right, boom, done. Darren Waller's off the list. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you guys relaying that information into my direction. If another name is inactive, y'all know, spam it in the chat until I see it, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, here we go. All right, back to the chat. So As for Isaac, yes, I'm going to roll with Ayuk over Foreman. Michael Gonzalez sent in a question, says Pierce or CeeDee Lamb. I got Jonathan Taylor, I have Lenny, I have Swift, I have Debo, I have Evans. All right, so if we're Pierce for CeeDee Lamb. My apologies, it's not or. There's an F in front of that, OR. If you're sending away Pierce, you're getting back CeeDee Lamb, and that is the players you have. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't have a problem in any sort of capacity there. Rob Castle in the chat says, "Hey Andrew, would you trade Alec Pierce and Sutton for Mark Andrews?" Yeah, I'd be very comfortable doing so. Yeah, for sure. Will Taylor says, "Should I flex Thielen or Jacoby Myers?" Flex Thielen or Jacoby Myers. As of right now, I feel a little bit more comfortable with the idea of rolling with Jacoby Myers. Thielen is a great option, but again, is very much so touchdown dependent in comparison. We know that Jacoby Myers, he and Mac Jones, they already have that connection. There was a reason why, Jacoby Myers was the number one wide receiver of the offense last year in 2021. He led the team in total targets, I think 126 total. We're going to probably see very similar numbers that we have earlier this season when they've played together. So I'm going to lean in that direction. And even if Bailey Zappi has to come in because Mac Jones is, selling the bag again, Jacoby Myers has still played well with him. So there's no big deal there. Appreciate it. Okay. After Will Taylor, we had Mr. Tres 05 sent in another question. Says, more upside, old man Cousins or the rookie Malik Willis? Yeah, I'd much rather play old man Cousins. Even though he's not even that old per se, I'd much rather play Kirk Cousins. It's not even close in my eyes. Malik Willis, even though he has rushing potential, guys, you got to remember that the entire game plan for this entire offense is to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry every single time they have a chance. And sure, we've seen Ryan Tannehill have a couple option read plays where down on the goal line he has the ability to keep and plug it in, but it is far less of a capacity, especially when we're dealing with a rookie. I don't think they're going to, put him in too big of situations to throw this game away. They're going to leave it to their stud. They're going to leave it to their offensive line, and they're going to hand the ball off a bunch today. Appreciate it. Anthony Ling sends in a question, says, half PPR, flex, Dalton Schultz or Donovan Peoples-Jones, waiver wasteland. Okay, let's go ahead and check my half PPR rankings right now on the flex. I currently have Donovan Peoples-Jones there, and I have Dalton Schultz 2 spots ahead of him. So I have Dalton Schultz at 73 overall, and I have DPJ at 75. So I go with Schultz there. Let's see here. Moving on. We have Matthew Cross says, Kieran Williams and D'Ernest Johnson worth rostering. I would say that there's probably a better. It's probably more worth to roster D'Ernest Johnson. I think there's a higher likelihood that Kareem Hunt is traded and not traded to the Rams. And even if he's traded to the Rams, Kieran Williams not very valuable in my eyes in comparison to Darrell Henderson. So yeah, I'd rather just have D'Ernest Johnson if in fact you were going to take one over the other just for this weekend, just to see what happens. Are you worried about Myers only getting 2 targets last week? No, not too worried about it. Let's see here. All right, Matthew 1031 says, good morning, sir. Full PPR, sit 1, Deontay Johnson, Jacoby Myers, Brian Robinson. Full PPR, let's see what we have here. So, in a full PPR scoring format, where do I have Brian Robinson Jr. in comparison to these other guys? Okay, and then where is that? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna sit Deontay. I'm playing Brian Robinson, and I'm playing Jacoby Myers there. Thank you, Matthew. All right, Limit Lou says, Gallup or Alec Pierce in a full PPR scoring format. I'm going to go with Gallup this week. Again, that is under the assumption, like I was mentioning earlier, that we do not see Noah Brown play. And the reason why I am kind of suggesting that as the idea is because Noah Brown literally didn't practice a single day this week. I'm looking at the practice report as we speak. I just pulled it up. He's dealing with a foot injury. He did not practice Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Currently questionable. Most likely is going to be, along with Zeke, go from questionable to out. So if there's no Noah Brown, he had 7 targets last week. If those targets are going to spread around this offense, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Schultz, Pollard, I'm very comfortable with rolling with Mr. Gallup this week. Even though he did, underperform last week to a pretty substantial capacity, I would say I'm still comfortable rolling with him over Alec Pierce. Let's see here. Dave Curtis says full PPR, pick 3, Eno Walker Jones Mostert. I would play Walker, Aaron Jones, and Raheem Mostert. I would bench Eno Benjamin this week. Thank you. Kyle Freeman says, I need to start a second running back between Foreman, Brian Robinson, and Dameon Harris. All right, first and foremost, it's Foreman, and I have no doubt about it. I have no hesitation in that regard. So we're absolutely rolling with Foreman out of those 3 running backs. The next best option would be Brian Robinson. Again, like you guys can see on screen, that's how I have it ranked, and that's how I'm going to continue with it. Your follow-up question here, Kyle Freeman, was, should I flex another running back after one of them? Or go with the potential options of Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel, Marquise Goodwin, or Paris Campbell? I feel relatively comfortable rolling with Brian Robinson in your flex thereafter. It would either be Brian. Yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable with that against Indianapolis. That's probably where I'd go. I'd go Foreman at your RB2, and I go Brian Robinson in your flex. All right. Again, for those of you who are joining us, there's about 400, 500 of you. I don't know. The number continues to fluctuate. I want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. If you're just arriving, remember the rankings to the right side of the screen are updated rankings as of this week. So if you're wondering regarding in position rankings between running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks, that should give you an indication as to where I am going with those given players. Another reminder, again, this is for half PPR, 4 point per passing touchdown on the screen. If you have a question and you send it in, please be sure to go ahead and let me know what your scoring format is so I can kind of get a better indication as to how I'm answering that. So the current is Waller playing it? No, Jake. As of right now, about 5-10 minutes ago, we got word from Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter, I don't know which one it was, that he's not playing. So do not roll with him this week. That is why I took him off the screen and my rankings. So just a heads up in that regard. Outside of that, again, if you guys could do me a favor, click the like button down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Again, we're trying to get a 1-for-1 ratio viewer to like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right. So Cinco2X sends in a question, says, I need to do rankings before the London game. Again, the only issue with doing rankings before the London game is your boy fell asleep at 3 o'clock and that London game started at 6:30. So if I was to get up and try to stream at, off of 3 hours of sleep, this stream wouldn't have lasted until 10 o'clock. I'll just tell you that straight up. So in terms of salvation of my mind, I started it at the perfect time, trust me. But yes, if you're wondering, hey, where's all the players from the Thursday game or the game that's going on right now between Jacksonville and Denver? They're not on screen because those games have already started. So again, moving on. Axel 8051 says, drop Gallup for Pacheco. I need a tight end. Kelsey's on bye. How does Pacheco fill in as a tight end there? I don't understand. I'm so confused with that question, Axel. That was just out of... There's 2 questions there that have nothing to do with one another, and you like paired them up to where it almost sounds like it doesn't matter. Are we dropping Gallup for Pacheco? No. If you need a running back or if you need a tight end to fill in for Kelsey, hopefully one of the guys on screen to the bottom right are available in your league. You pick them up, play them. Rockout says PPR, Josh Reynolds, Allen Robinson, Khalil Herbert, pick one. Okay, so if we're playing one of those potential options, I'd rather play Allen Robinson first and foremost, and then I'd follow that up with going Josh Reynolds and then Khalil Herbert right after in a full PPR. Pick up Taysom Hill tight end. You could pick up Taysom Hill, but I'm not going to start him over Allen Robinson. I mean, you could, but I'm not going to. Let's see here. Aha. I see now, Axel. It says drop or okay, yeah. So yes, I would drop Pacheco there. Thank you. My bad. Let's see here. What is ETN doing? He's slicing up the defense right now. Hopefully. I mean, I'm watching it on my phone here. Interestingly enough, they only put this game on NFL Plus or ESPN Plus for some reason. I don't know why they're not just broadcasting the game altogether. All right, moving on. So Smarco Andre sends in a question. Or Sam Crow Andre says, trade Fournette for Evans or St. Brown. In a full PPR scoring format, if you have enough running back depth, I'd be perfectly fine moving him for St. Brown. Thank you. Dom sends in a question, says Ellinger or Mills. Okay, so if in fact we get a full indication that Brandon Cooks is going to play today, I would play Mills, and I'd be confident doing so in a 6-point per passing touchdown league. That's where I would go. I do not want to play Ellinger over Mills. Vance sends in a question, says Van Jefferson or Drake London? Yeah, I think you should just probably play Van Jefferson. I think there's just more upside there. If Drake London has himself a week, so be it. I mean, again, it's just too difficult to predict in that capacity. He just doesn't get enough targets. They don't throw the ball enough, quite frankly. And even if he catches 2 to 3 passes, yes, he's going to account for 30% of the target share, but he's not going to be a relevant enough option unless he finds the end zone purely or makes a massive receiving play. Trevor Lawrence still in the bag. Okay. And probably Jacksonville still recovers that. All right, moving on. Jan sends in a question, says Gerald Everett is on the waivers. I have Higbee and Hawkinson. Drop one of them for Everett. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have Everett ahead of Hawkinson rest of season. So I did post a video on Friday, rest of season rankings. If you check that one out, it has Jonathan Taylor on the thumbnail. I'm fairly certain on that video I have Everett ahead of Hawkinson. Check that out. Confirm that. If it confirms, boom, that's where I would go. Sag in the chat was saying defensive rankings. Yes, we're going to get the defensive rankings in about 3 minutes here, along with kicker rankings. Let me just answer a couple more of these. Perry Paul says half PPR, Devonta Smith or Miles Sanders. Let me check here. So in my half PPR scoring format, Sanders. So we have Miles Sanders at 30, and I have Devonta Smith at 34. So I would go with Miles Sanders there against Pittsburgh today. Thank you. In a half PPR. Jan says, Swift or Olave full PPR? Good question. Let's check. Full PPR. Swift, where is he? I have Swift at 20, and I have Olave at 21. So Swift ahead of Olave today in a full PPR. Thank you. Tommy Hennessy says, I need help. Okay, cool. Who do I start in the flex? Full PPR, Eno or Carter? Must win. Yeah, I think Eno is probably the safer path as for this week. Considering there's no James Conner, most likely Darrell Williams is going to be inactive today, and Eno Benjamin is going to dominate majority of the rushing work, goal line work, and receiving upside there within that offense. I'm fairly comfortable with that position. Carter could have himself a great week. Again, he's not going to be as efficient as Breece Hall was. The fact that 2 of these offensive linemen for the Jets in the last week, either went to injured reserve or are out for this upcoming weekend's game also doesn't help. So I'm just not as comfortable playing Carter in that position. Casey Jones says Pollard or Rhamondre Stevenson is my RB2. I prefer Pollard. Again, there's a reason why I had Pollard as today's thumbnail. Pollard is highly ranked in my eyes. Now, for those of you who want some justification on the matter, I went ahead and compiled some stats for us just for that purpose alone. Where the heck is my Pollard sheet? Here it is. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this before somebody has a panic attack about me suggesting Pollard. Listen to this stuff. Here we go. So, in his entire career, 2019 through 2022, Tony Pollard, whenever he has been given 16 or more opportunities in a game, he averages 17.12 half PPR fantasy points per game. So, 16 or more rushes plus targets in a singular game, 17 plus fantasy points per game on average in his career thus far, rookie through now. On top of it, any game he's given 14 or more total touches, whether it's receptions or rushing attempts, averages over 16 fantasy points per game, exactly 16.03. The last time Zeke missed a regular season game due to injury, 2020 week 15. Tony Pollard in that game had 12 attempts for 69 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 9 targets, 6 catches, 63 yards, and 28.2 half PPR fantasy points. The Dallas Cowboys right now are averaging about 25.14 rushing attempts per game, and Tony Pollard has dominated the RB target counts 18-8 in the first 7 games of the season. If we continue to allocate opportunity at the level in which they've done, in which they're running the ball probably 25 times per game, if they allocate about 20 rushing attempts in his direction, and Malik, the third string back, probably gets like 5 rushing attempts, and then they also add on 5 potential targets onto the plate of Tony Pollard, again, I'm expecting a massive performance from him. And like we've seen in his career, when he's getting those numbers, 16 plus opportunities, 14 plus touches, he's 15, 16, 17 points per game plus in a half PPR. That's why I'm so confident with that play. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Simply, okay, yeah. I said 3 minutes. Before we get to Simply, let me go ahead. Let's talk about defensive rankings and kicker rankings, okay? Here we go. And I know Benjamin in the chat just said, has he done defensive rankings yet? No. Here we go. We're going to do that right now. So I'm going to have to dodge a couple of the... Okay, so let me see here. So I had Broncos at 11. I had Jacksonville at 8. So I got both those out of there. So we have top 10 defenses, okay? And then let me see. Did I have any kickers here? I had McManus there, and that was the only one. Okay, so here we go. Defensive rankings for week 8 of the 2022 fantasy football season. My number 1 defense on the week is the Dallas Cowboys, followed by number 2, Philadelphia Eagles, number 3, Buffalo Bills, number 4, New England Patriots, number 5, San Francisco 49ers, number 6, New York Jets, number 7, Tennessee Titans, number 8, Washington Commanders, number 9, Indianapolis Colts, and number 10, Minnesota Vikings. Okay? Front to back, top 10. Boom, done. Moving on. Top 10 kickers. We have number 1, Daniel Carlson. Number 2, Evan McPherson. Number 3, Brett Maher. Number 4, Tyler Bass. Number 5, Jake Elliott. Number 6, Jason Myers. Number 7, Graham Gano. Number 8, Jason Sanders. Number 9, Greg Joseph. And number 10, Matt Gay. Now, earlier this week, for those of you who are part of the Patreon, I did have Jason Myers and Graham Gano higher. They were actually my number 3 and 4 overall kickers on the week. But considering there's about a 50% chance of rain in that Seattle game, I think it's a little bit safer to kind of weather, for lack of a better term, our expectations as to what their kicking potential is. So I've kind of moved them down just slightly, but still relevant kickers. All right. Moving on. Let's get back into this chat, answer some questions. I appreciate y'all being patient with that. If you guys haven't yet already, do me a favor, click the like button down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right. So Simply Rages says, Montgomery or Najee Harris in a standard scoring format. I'm worried about the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Cowboys matchup is difficult to an extent. Is that Greg Dulcich just completely tearing up the middle of the field? Man, is it me or is Russell Wilson going to win this game? Am I crazy? I feel like there's a little bit of momentum there for this team. Offensive line's playing pretty well, especially against that relatively good pass rush from Jacksonville. Anyway, as to your question, in regards to Montgomery versus Najee Harris, the Montgomery play, in my eyes, mainly revolves around the idea that if they're going to throw the ball in a capacity in the second half where they have to catch up because, Dallas has mounted some semblance of a lead and they're in the position of running any sort of 2-minute offense, it's primarily going to be David Montgomery catching the ball out of this backfield. And he's done so very well this season. So my assumption is that we'll probably get enough receptions out of him in that capacity to make him a better play. And that's kind of why I've kind of leaned him ahead of Najee Harris. But in a standard scoring format, if in fact there is no upside there in the receiving game, Najee's probably the safer play. Average Dan sends a question. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. 12-man PPR league. Started Mark Andrews in my tight end. Who do I flex? Foreman, Kittle, Samuel, Brian Robinson, Henderson. I play Kittle in the flex, straight up. I mentioned this stat yesterday in regards to some of the pick'ems that I was making yesterday via Prize Picks. George Kittle, in the last 11 games he's played against the Rams, whether it be regular season or postseason, in the last 11 games, 8 of those games have consisted of at least 1 receiving touchdown or 100 receiving yards in those 8 games. So one or the other, he's scoring points. We have no Deebo Samuel today. Whenever Deebo is not active, Kittle's averaging over 10 fantasy points per game throughout his career. We're in a pretty good spot here. I'm definitely rolling with Kittle. Brandon sends in a question, says PPR pick 3, Pittman, Cooks, Pittman, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Gallup. Okay, so of the available options, I think it's pretty clear. I'm going to play Pittman, I'm going to play Cooks, I'm going to play Pickens. If in fact Cooks is a random, just out of nowhere inactive because they're going to trade him or something like that, and they're like, we're not going to play you today, then it'd be Wan'Dale Robinson. But I think he's going to play, and I think he'll play well, especially against that Tennessee Titans secondary. So Pittman, Cooks, Pickens, those are my 3 suggestions. Let me get to the chat real quick. What do we have here? Start Willis or Stafford? I mean, listen, I do not want to trust Willis purely based on rushing statistics alone. I know he has the capability of it, and I know he could very easily get himself, I don't know, 60 rushing yards today, but I don't know if that's enough for me to trust him blindly. It's not something that I'm 100% bought in on, because I've seen quarterbacks earlier this season, like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, both play against Houston and both go for 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and both not run the ball very well. Who scored? Melvin Gordon? All right, Melvin Gordon, let's go, baby. It's the movie Red. It's Bruce Willis out here getting the job done. But yeah, that's the only issue there. Thielen or Henderson in a PPR? Let's see here, TMB. Thielen or Hendo in a PPR? Thielen. I'm fairly certain I'm going to have... Where the heck is Henderson in this list? Yeah, I have Thielen ahead of Henderson in a PPR scoring format. Thank you. All right. After Brandon's question, it was Kepler. Kepler, thank you very much. Says, good morning, sir. I need a win. Don't we all, my man? Do I start Foreman or Eno today in a full PPR? I have Eno slightly ahead of him in a full PPR. Thank you. Jake Thompson says, do I trade Foreman for Lockett? I have Evans, Davis, Hollywood, Van Jefferson. I have Henry, Fournette, Hunt, and Allgeier. Yeah, I think in the long run, it probably serves you better to have Lockett on your team. My only issue is it's not 100% certainty that a Lockett even plays here, Jake. But if we're just talking about the future of your team as a whole, considering your running back depth, considering Chuba Hubbard's eventual return, I in your current wide receiver depth, I mean, to be honest, your wide receiver depth isn't in a position to where you're struggling, right? You're going to start Evans and Davis every single week until Hollywood comes back, and then Hollywood will play in your flex. So you don't have to make this deal. But again, if you're in a PPR scoring format, I don't know if you are, maybe you are. It probably serves you best in the long run to have that wide receiver when buys kind of roll along here to be able to filter him in until we see Hollywood return it and healthy. So I'm okay with it. Pedro's Lucario says, standard format. I need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 2 flex. All right, awesome. Let's do this. Amari, Samuel, Ayuk, Eno, Montgomery, Gibson, Ertz, Kittle. Amari, okay. So, I mean, you got a pretty good, I guess, yeah, you got pretty good players here. So, Kittle's for sure. Oh, you have no flex. So, you have no tight end. So, you have to just play tight ends in the flex. Okay. So, as of right now, Eno Benjamin, Montgomery, those are your 2 running backs. Ayuk and Amari Cooper are your 2 wide receivers. And no joke, I'm probably playing Kittle and Ertz both at the flex. Pedro, thank you. David Palafox says, pick 2 PPR, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Boyd, Davis Pittman. Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. Those are the 2 guys I'd like to play this week out of the bunch. If you had a third option, it would, in a full PPR, probably be Tyler Boyd. And then after that, it'll be Gabriel Davis, then Michael Pittman Jr. But yeah, that's the order I'm thinking right now. Justin sends in a question, says, I need a full PPR, pick 1 flex. We have Michael Carter, Thielen, Hendo. I'm fairly certain I'm going to go with Michael Carter there. I can confirm it, though. Yeah, Michael Carter. I have him 2 spots ahead of Adam Thielen in a full PPR. So Michael Carter is my suggestion there. Thank you. Alrighty. Let's see here. Again, for those of you who have joined us this morning, it's about 500 of you. If you guys could do me a favor, click that like button down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Again, the entire purpose of bringing this content to you guys is to help you set your lineups. If you guys could do me a solid, clicking that like button would be the only support I need you guys to show me. Don't need to send in any donations. Don't need to do any of that. Just click that like button. Be greatly appreciated. Thank you. All right. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Got some questions here. Eno or Myers in a full PPR? Whose question is that exactly? Let me see here. Eno or Myers is throwback. Let's see your throwback. Control F, Eno Benjamin. Let's see here. So if I have Eno Benjamin there, I have Eno Benjamin ahead of Jacoby Myers in a full PPR this week. Thank you. Roger says, why can't the folks just read the rankings on the screen? I mean, listen, if somebody asks a question in the chat and the answer can be found on the screen, then yeah, I probably won't answer. But like a question here from X says, is Gallup ranked assuming Noah Brown is out? Yes. To clarify, yes, 100%. So in terms of clarifying questions, yeah, I'm 100% willing to answer it. But if it's answered on the screen, like, do I play Kittle or Goddard? Like, I probably won't pay any attention to those kind of questions. Let's see here. Defensive rankings, cryptic. We're gonna do it in probably a little bit. We had just mentioned it, I would say 10 minutes ago. So if you rewind 10 minutes to exactly 8, yeah, if you exactly rewind 10, 11 minutes here, you can hear it again, and then you can come back. But yeah, we'll probably mention it again in just a bit. Troy says, I didn't play Judy or Melvin Gordon. They both decided to go off this week. I think, Troy, you were the sacrificial lamb in this capacity. Because you didn't start them, they went off. They knew. In the universe, they just felt it. And because of that, obviously, we are all benefiting thanks to your sacrifice, Troy. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So Antonio Rocha sent in a question. Said, Waller is out. Who do I pick up at tight end? Antonio, I would say you look at the list that's on screen over. Where is it? Over there? Yeah, it's somewhere over there. You see over there? So if anybody on that list, Irv Smith, Hayden Hurst, Dalton Schultz, Taysom Hill, Dawson Knox, Harrison Bryant, Mike Gesicki, Kyle Pitts, Robert Tonyan, Noah Fant, if any of those guys are available, that's who you pick up. I don't know who's in your league. You asking me a very blanketed statement like, who do I pick up? I don't know who's available, right? So just look at the list, figure out who's available in your league, play the highest ranked player that I have available, and send it. Foreman or Boyd? Jesse, I have decided I'd rather play Boyd. Moving on, after Roka's question, we had Zinski. Says, need to Cordero. Sorry, what does that say? That says CeeDee Lamb, Pollard, or Pierce. I saw, for some reason, I saw the P and I was like, Cordero Patterson? Wait, what? I would play CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard this week. Thank you. Jorge Perez says, full PPR pick 3. Start. Okay, so we need a couple options here. So we need a wide receiver, we need a tight end, and a flex. We have Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, Kittle, Taysom Hill. At this moment, Jorge, I feel most comfortable rolling with Allen Robinson, Kittle, and Taysom Hill. Thank you. Franklin sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, half PPR, Nick Chubb or T. Higgins? All right. I could check my rankings. I'm fairly certain it's going to be Chubb, right? Let me see here. I have Chubb in a half PPR flex. Boom. There we go. Nick Chubb is number 11, and I have T. Higgins at 18. So, yeah, I'm still rolling with Chubb there. Even though Nick Chubb has got a little bit of a downgrade in my rankings based on the fact that, first and foremost, Wyatt Teller, their starting right guard, is not going to play. You guys may think, oh, what's the significance of that? Wyatt Teller is quite literally the best run-blocking offensive lineman in terms of run-blocking grades according to Pro Football Focus. So he is by far and away one of the best offensive linemen. Ibrahim Yusuf says, so you prefer Freiermuth over Irv Smith? Yes, that is correct. I prefer Freiermuth over Irv Smith. Well, whoever played them, you're welcome. I mean, hey, listen, I had Judy on one of my teams. He's doing well. I'm glad they counted that as a forward pass, even though it almost was very closely a handoff there on the goal line. But I mean, the funny thing was the only reason Judy actually scored is because they ran that jet sweep, pre-motion offensive attack. Otherwise, if we were to rely upon Russell Wilson actually throwing a touchdown into the end zone, probably wouldn't have happened. Let's see here. Cade Elliott sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, Jamal Williams or Deontay Johnson full PPR? I'm fairly certain I'm going to have Deontay Johnson ahead of him just because I know Deontay's going to get him 10 points, but let me confirm this. Deontay Johnson is my number 62, and I currently have Jamal Williams. Where is he? Where's Jamal? At 72. Yeah, it's Deontay for sure. Just needed to confirm that for my own confidence on the matter. Let's see here. Active/inactives. Is Noah Brown out, guys? That's my question. Because if he's not, I will immediately take Gallup off the screen. That's not a bad punt return. I mean, it could have been better, but it's not bad. All right, let's see here. Coming back into this chat. If somebody can go and check like Ian Rappaport or Shefty and see if they have anything regarding Noah Brown, that'd be greatly appreciated. That includes you as well, Christian. And if you see that, text me. All right, moving on. We have KJ sending in a question. Says Brian Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., or Romeo Doubs in a full PPR, pick one. Okay, cool. Let's check here. Full PPR. Let me F function in my Excel sheet. Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman says at 43. Brian Robinson Jr., where art thou? Where's Brian Robinson? He's probably lower in the rankings than in that. Yeah, he is. So I'd go Michael Pittman Jr. there, full PPR. Thank you. Follow-up question. We had Kendrick. Kendrick sends in a question. Thank you. Says Olave or Mostert in the flex. What's your format, Kendrick? Noah Brown is questionable. That's all I can see. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing as well. That's my only concern. Because if Noah Brown actually plays, guys, I don't want to roll with Gallup. Because I know Noah Brown's gonna siphon a lot of those targets. So that's the only thing. Is Carr gonna be a bummer today? I don't think he should be. Listen, I think Carr, if they run the ball as consistently as they have, which they probably should this week against New Orleans, the fact that there's no Marshawn Lattimore once again, this should be another one of these pretty solid weeks for Carr. Now, if he gets 2 touchdowns, I think we're lucky. I think at his base value, he's probably going for 270 passing yards, probably throws a singular touchdown, and at very best, maybe gets a couple rushing yards. But the upside play is that extra touchdown that, of course, is always up in the air for a lot of these quarterbacks. Where is Mr. KJ? KJ comment yet? Actually, no, it wasn't KJ. It was Kendrick. Kendrick says half PPR. All right, cool. Let me check my rankings. Let's go to half PPR. Control F. Olave. So I have Olave in a half PPR in the flex position at number 25. I have Mostert at 23. So I'm going to go with Mostert there against Detroit. Thank you. Trey Curb, 47, says Callaway or Traquan Smith. I'd go with Traquan Smith today. Thank you. Troy says, as long as their value goes up, I'm happy. Yeah, I guess you're not wrong. As long as their value goes up, considering this will be 2 consecutive good weeks for Judy, you might be able to kind of move him in some sort of capacity, or maybe even start him, hopefully. Shammy in the chat says, Taysom Hill or Pickens this week, full PPR. Absolutely play George Pickens. I go on, says, hey, Andrew, is Kieran Williams worth grabbing off the waivers, or is Jeff Wilson Jr. Worth grabbing off the waivers with trade talks circulating around him? If so, which one do you see having more upside? I think there's probably a higher likelihood of Jeff Wilson being the more valuable prospect within this offense. Again, the report that I saw earlier today was that if, in fact, the Rams don't trade Cam Akers by the Tuesday deadline, Akers is expected to come back and play for the team, and they're not going to release him. So that would pretty much evacuate any sort of value for Kieran Williams. I would rather just kind of bet on the idea of Jeff Wilson maybe getting moved, because they know they have Tyrion Davis-Price and Elijah Mitchell still back there. And if a team is willing to give enough of a value proposition, like maybe a 5th-round pick, 6th-round pick for Jeff Wilson, maybe the 49ers will take it, but maybe they're just going to keep him out of loyalty and he's just going to be a handcuff. We don't know. But I think as of right now, it's probably safer to roll with, what's his name? Jeff Wilson. Someone in the chat just said Noah Brown status shows out on ESPN Fantasy. Does it really? Okay, good. I mean, not good. Okay, hold up. Good for the purposes of Andrew doesn't have to try to fire up Photoshop and almost crash his computer. So that's the only reason why I meant good in that capacity. Not good as in he's hurt. Good as in I don't have to remove Michael Gallup off the screen, okay? Let's not get it twisted, guys, here. Barry, what's up? Hold up. Let's see here. Barry says, sorry if you must have missed it. Standard league. Okay, Barry, let's see what we could do here. I'm playing Swift. I have Jamal Williams and Hunt as my only other options as my RB2. Is it fair to play Williams? Yeah, honestly, I think it's probably in your best interest, Barry, to play Williams there. Mainly because any sort of leaked value, when they're utilizing Jamal Williams instead of course, DeAndre Swift, you'll be able to recoup it, whether it's on the goal line or whether it's just normal, natural rushing attempts or targets. So yeah, I would like to play both Detroit backs there today, Barry. That'd be my suggestion. Thank you. Again, if you guys are wondering, For those of you who are just joining us, maybe you're new around the channel, maybe you haven't been here in a little bit of time. The rankings that are on screen are up to date as of this morning. So if you have a question regarding a couple wide receivers that you're wondering whether to start, of course, hopefully the rankings on screen can help you guys solve that going forward. Again, the only thing that you are maybe questioning on screen is the little marks next to Lockett and Metcalf's name. I have both of them tagged with questionable tags because, again, they play in the afternoon, and I'm not 100% certain if they're going to absolutely play without a doubt. So proceed with caution to a capacity. That's why I've lowered their rankings in comparison to where I had them earlier in the week. Moving on, Spencer, thank you very much, says, trade Jonathan Taylor for T. Higgins and DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I would do that. No problem. Sandy O says, full PPR, one wide receiver, one flex, Curtis Samuel, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Hayden Hurst. I'm very comfortable starting both those receivers. Give me Curtis Samuel, give me Wan'Dale Robinson. Those are the two guys I'd like to play there, Sandy. Thank you. Jonathan McMaster. What a last name, huh? McMaster. Says Darrell Henderson or Michael Pittman Jr. in the flex. Standard league, I have Devontae Adams, Devin Singletary, Gabriel Davis, DeAndre Swift. My other, and these are my, okay, cool. So as of right now in a standard scoring format, I don't, it's going to be a matter of whether or not Michael Pittman can actually get enough yardage to find that semblance of value. I know that Brian Allen, the center for the Rams, is returning. I just don't know how much value that really is going to present. I think, Jonathan, I'm relatively just comfortable rolling with Pittman there. I really don't want to play Darrell Henderson. If Darrell Henderson falls into the end zone, that may give us some sort of increased value, but really the chances of that occurring, in my mind, isn't as likely as just like straight up Michael Pittman out yardaging and maybe even scoring a touchdown himself. Let's see this game. Trevor Lawrence back in the pocket, dump off screen pass. I mean, what a way to give us negative fantasy points, huh? -7 yards for the receiving total of ETN. What a way, huh? All right, let's see here. Meza sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, was offered Lockett for Pollard. No, thank you. Have Taylor, Walker, and Eno. My wide receivers are Keenan Allen, Lazard, Cooks, Pierce. Okay, here's the thing. Counter with Eno Benjamin. Yeah, I'd much rather counter with Eno Benjamin. I don't want to give away Pollard just in case Pollard somehow, some way has a big game here, which he will, but he takes that big game and parlays that into a bigger role within this offense in the future. And if he does, giving him away for Lockett would be short selling his overall upside rest of the way. You know what I mean? Let's see here. What do we have? Someone in the chat was asking AJ Brown or Tony Pollard. I'd rather play Tony Pollard this week, quite frankly. Fasty sends in a question. Thank you. Says standard league. Henderson, Hunt, or Wan'Dale Robinson. Okay, at that point, it's clearly between the two running backs in a standard scoring format, because I think Wan'Dale Robinson certainly has the potential to score a touchdown, but the likelihood of that being the case typically isn't very high within that offense. I probably play Henderson there, Fasty. It's between Henderson and Hunt, and I don't know if I trust Hunt too much, especially considering they play on Monday night and all the swirling rumors regarding him maybe getting moved to the Bills here. So yeah, I'm gonna just roll with Hendo there. Jonathan, thank you, appreciate that. Romez says Malik Willis or Gabriel Davis in a super flex position. Ooh, wow. Okay, that's super risky because that is actually legitimate risk. I'm trying to think here. If Malik Willis runs for about 30, no, let's say he runs for a safe 50 rushing yards. Okay, let's say he gets 5 points in terms of rushing yards. Okay, let's say he throws for 125 passing yards. So let's say he gets another 5 points there, and he doesn't score any touchdowns. In fact, throws a pick. At that point, he would have to score a touchdown, get an additional 4 points in some sort of capacity before. I think I'm still playing Gabe Davis there at the Superflex. Thank you. All right. Tunyon or Conklin this week? Awful waffle. I would play Tunyon, and it's not even close in my mind. Mainly because since Zach Wilson has taken over, it is crazy, but Let me pull it up. Since Zach Wilson has taken over for this offense, Tyler Conklin has had, and I quote, 3 catches, 0 catches, 1 catch, 4 catches. His yardage, 52, 0, 16, 22. Average depth of target for every single receiver in this offense has diminished greatly since the departure of one Joe Flacco. I wish Joe Flacco never left. Truly, I wish he did, because this offense was significantly more, dynamic in his heavy passing games. 44 plus attempts. I mean, there was a reason why Conklin, within the first 4 weeks of the season, first 3 weeks of the season, was a top, 8 tight end option. Come on, Lawrence. Rip the ball out of your hands. Go. Trevor Lawrence running a little bit. All right. Getting a little bit of fantasy points there. All right, let's see here. The Dazed Full, thank you very much, says, morning, Singletary or Eno Benjamin in a full PPR? Let me check here. I'm fairly certain I have Eno a little bit higher than him, but I can confirm this in a full PPR. I currently have Eno Benjamin. Yeah, I haven't had a Singletary, mainly because I don't expect Singletary to have to use too much receiving upside in this game. Blind says, I can't believe I dropped Dulcich. What did he do? Is he? I know he had a couple big catches there. Let me check here. Where's the stats looking like, huh, guys? Is my man is he getting the job done? He has 4 catches for 87. Let's go. Let's go. That's 3 big weeks there, man. Let's go. How is A-Rob so high? Mainly because my assumption, Frank, is that when Van Jefferson, now that he's activated, enters into this lineup, we know that the Rams, over the course of Sean McVay's entire tenure with the organization, loves to run 11 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers in every single offensive set, which means they're probably going to run 11 personnel for most likely 97% of the games, which is typically their average. If Van Jefferson is going to be on the field for that much of the game, and or him or Skoranek are going to be like rotating in that position, my assumption at this moment would be to believe that Van Jefferson and his speed at a full capacity is enough to pull the coverage and stretch the defense to where they're not so stacked on top of the heads of Cup. Whoa. Did my stream just die all of a sudden? Are we still live? Okay, I'm still live. Okay, good. For a second there, my stream died and then it just came back to life. So I think we should be fine. In terms of just a quick point here. As of thus far this season, in the first 7 weeks, Allen Robinson is the number 2 overall receiving option. So whether that's running back, tight end, or wide receiver, in terms of targets inside the 10-yard line. He has 8 total targets. He's only behind Travis Kelce. He has 2 receiving touchdowns out of those 8 targets. Very easily should have 4 if it wasn't for Matthew Stafford and or defensive pass interference penalties. So I know that the touchdown potential is there. And I know that, of course, we're in a position where Van Jefferson is stretching that defense, making it far easier for him to be utilized within the offense without too much pressure in terms of coverage. Thank you guys for letting me know that the stream, it went weird for a second. Yeah, literally, I'm looking at my OBS, and the thing went from max amount of kilobits per second to straight flat 0, red bar, notifications popping up left, right, and center on my screen. So we're good to go. Thank you. Again, for those of you guys who are just joining us as of right now, greatly appreciate you guys joining us this morning for week 8. Again, the rankings on the screen, 1000% give you guys my opinion on the matter in regards to my top 36 running backs, wide receivers, tight ends for a half PPR, and top 16 quarterbacks for a 4-point per passing touchdown league. If you have a question regarding those players, of course, hopefully they can answer it. Like whether you're wondering whether you should play Tony Pollard or Dameon Pierce. Again, I got Pollard at 9 and I got Dameon Pierce at 15. So I'm going with Pollard because he's higher ranked. Again, hopefully that kind of gives you guys an indication as to where to go, as to what my opinion is. Again, you don't have to follow my opinion, but it's there for just to help you guys out, maybe confirmation bias, something of that extent, whatever I can do. I'll be answering questions for the next couple hours. Again, in about probably 5 minutes here, 8:55 a.m., I'm going to be mentioning my top 10 defenses and kickers once again. So for those of you who are, in need of that kind of information, we'll mention that. And then we'll be good to go. If you guys could do me a solid, click that like button down below. It'd be greatly appreciated in terms of supporting the channel. There's about 600 of you in here. If we can get a 1-for-1 ratio there, or at least get up to about 500 likes today, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. A lot of appreciation coming from my direction to your guys, huh? All right, Carlton Collins says, You think Jonathan Taylor will get back to being a top 5 upside? Yeah, I think his upside is certainly going to be there. As to whether his weekly basis is there, that's a different conversation. I think upside, yeah, the verbiage of upside is very particular, right? Because upside implicates the idea that he has a better week than normal, right? And what his overall potential is within the given week and whether they act upon said potential. Now, the base floor, I think certainly is in that top 7 to 8 conversation of running back, but certainly upside is in that top 5 on a weekly basis. I believe so. Let's see here. Luis sends in a question. Thank you very much, Luis. Says Brian Robinson, Jamal Williams, or Adam Thielen? I'd go Brian Robinson there. Again, the last 2 weeks, 17 rushing attempts, 20 rushing attempts, had himself 22 touches last week, had himself 2 targets, 2 catches. He's getting a lot of utilization there. That is all I like to see. More opportunity that leads to more fantasy points. And if they get him down on the goal line, we know he's going to get that opportunity and probably score. After this week, Andrew, how relevant will Eno be? I have Cordero Patterson coming back. Cordero Patterson is going to absolutely be a better option than him, mainly because we expect James Conner to be back. But even in that capacity, if let's say, for example, Cordero Patterson was active today, I would start him over Eno. Just giving you some perspective in that matter. Terry R. says, trade Pittman for Pacheco and Wan'Dale Robinson. I'd probably say no to that. I think I'd rather just keep Pittman at this moment. I don't think Pacheco is really going to do much in that offense as of right now. Definitely not an athlete says, happy Sunday, football bro. What's up? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Having a hard time playing one of these options. Okay, so what do we have here? So I'm having a hard time wanting to play Aaron Jones. What do you think? Pick 2 out of the flex options. Gabe Davis, Aaron Jones, or Tyler Boyd. Oh, man. What is your scoring format? Definitely not an athlete. If you could do me a favor and let me know in the comment section or in the live chat, that'd be greatly appreciated, just so I can kind of give you an indication. Again, I want to remind you guys, for those of you who are asking questions like AJ Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Garrett Wilson or Brandon Cooks, again, the rankings are on screen. A player like Garrett Wilson isn't on screen for a reason. I was mentioning it a little bit earlier. I would not play a Jets wide receiver this week in any sort of capacity because, again, a Jets wide receiver hasn't been relevant since, quite frankly, Zach Wilson has taken over. So hopefully the rankings on screen will help you guys out. I know Mo just asked a question regarding Swift, Pierce, and Stevenson. Again, half PPR are the rankings on screen. Check those out. That should give you the answer. So you have no problem with that, guys. Juan, I just saw your donation. I'll get to it in just a moment. I appreciate that, Juan. Let's see here. We have Sandy sending in a question. Says, Hurt. Okay, so we have Romeo Dobbs. I'm assuming you meant Hurst. So Dobbs, Hurst, Allgeier, or play Metcalf. Ooh, that is tough. I think Allgeier is very capable of 10 points. And quite frankly, I think he's a better option than Romeo Dobbs and probably Hayden Hurst at this moment. So I'm okay with Allgeier there if you just need 10 points. But if Metcalf is at any capacity, I would probably rather play him. But I just don't know if he's gonna be available. Madden God says no Corey Davis though. But I mean, what has Corey Davis done? Like, do I gotta go pull up the stats, guys? Corey Davis this season. I know he had one good game with Zach Wilson, but it's not gonna get it done. So the first week Zach Wilson was back. Yes, Corey Davis had a touchdown. But since then, 2 targets, 38, 2 targets, 52, and last week, 1 target. Sorry, not 2 targets. 2 catches, 38, 2 catches, 52, 0 catches, 0 yards this last week. Obviously went down with the injury. Pretty unfortunate. But even in last week's game, okay, against Denver, when Corey Davis went down, what were the rest of the receiving stats? Because Corey Davis only played 22% of the offensive snaps in that game. And we saw Berrios get 3 catches for 15 yards. Garrett Wilson, 4 catches for 24. I mean, if you want 6-7 points, sure, you can play him. But I don't trust it, guys. I think it's just safer to go with an alternative option this week. Let's see here. Paul Riley says, full PPR, pick 2, Deontay Johnson, Brian Robinson, or George Pickens. If I'm not mistaken, I'm probably going to, let me check here. I for sure have George Pickens ahead of Deontay Johnson this week in a full PPR, but let me confirm about Brian Robinson's whereabouts on my PPR list. Brian Robinson is going to, I'm going to play Brian Robinson and George Pickens there. Thank you. Let's see here. Moving on. We have Justin says, should I sit Cooks for Thielen since Cooks is is heavily involved in trade rumors. I don't know what exactly to do in that regard. I would like to play Cooks. I would almost feel comfortable enough playing Cooks because the coaching staff, right, is paid to go win games. They're not paid to, hey, we're not going to, utilize him much, are we? Like, they're not going to be told by the GM not to play him. If they were going to be, they would make him inactive before the game even starts. So with that logic, if he's active, I'm playing him. Okay, let's see here. Lel and Moss says 5 locks for Prize Picks. All right, let me go ahead and pull them up from yesterday. All right, so here's the Prize Picks locks that I really do like for this week. Okay, I don't know if the numbers have changed. They could have potentially by now, but these are the ones that I talked about yesterday. So hopefully they haven't changed from yesterday. Going into today, Raheem Mostert 65 rushing yards. He's accomplished more than that in 3 out of the last 4 games. Detroit has allowed 65 and a half or more rushing yards to an opposing running backs in 5 out of the last 6 games. Raheem Mostert more on rushing yards this week. Another player that I really liked was, there's a couple ones here. I like George Kittle more than 12.5 fantasy points. He's been able to do that quite a lot as of late, especially when he's been without Deebo Samuel and mainly when he's been against the Rams. Again, like I've mentioned, over 100 receiving yards or a receiving touchdown in 8 out of the last games against the Rams. I like Dameon Pierce. Actually, no, you know what? Dameon Pierce is interesting. I like him 2.5 receptions or more. I like that more number. I think he could very easily get over 3 receptions. He's been able to do that 3 out of the last 3 games. Who's another lock there? Brian Robinson, more on rushing attempts. His number was currently at 15 yesterday, so I think he could very easily get himself 16 rushing attempts. Amon-Ra St. Brown, more than 62.5 receiving yards. And then another one that I liked was Stephon Diggs, more than 6.5 receptions. He's done that in 5 out of the last 6 games this season. If you want to go with picking less on players, it would be Devontae Parker less, Kyle Pitts less on receiving yards, and Devontae Parker less on receiving yards. And what's his name? Aaron Rodgers less on fantasy points, Zach Wilson less on passing attempts. Thank you. Okay, again, if you guys were wondering what the heck I was just talking about, I was talking about potential entries for Prize Picks. Again, if you guys haven't checked them out, there's a link in the description. You could travel to their website. And when you do, again, the entire point of that, Prize Picks game is to pick more or less on a given player statistic. If you're able to accurately predict that in a chain of potential players, you win some money. Of course, you make an entry. If you go ahead and sign up today using promo code Andrew, you'll be given a first deposit match up to $100 when using the promo code. So if you deposit about 50, you'll be given 50. If you deposit 100, you'll be given 100. So it's up to you. But yeah, those are the ones that I really am comfortable with going into today. Again, the numbers could have shifted one way or the other. Not 100% certain right now, because I know that they certainly shift numbers based on where everything's kind of rotating. Juan Rivera, flex, D'Onta Foreman, Michael Pittman Jr., or David Montgomery. Out of those 3 options, I'm probably going to play D'Onta Foreman. Let me confirm. Juan, you have access to my rankings. You're a part of the Patreon. But just go. You can go check those out on the Patreon. I posted it earlier this morning, like at 1 a.m. So you can check those out. Let me confirm this. Foreman is there. Yeah, Foreman is in my number 40, and Pittman's 43 in full PPR. So I'm going to go Foreman there. Thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on. We have Jake says full PPR, Brian Robinson or George Pickens? Good question. Let's see where I have George Pickens in comparison, because I know I have Brian Robinson here. George Pickens is ahead of him by 2 spots. That's where I'm going. George Pickens. Demond Smith, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very generous donation from you. You always come in clutch. Thank you. Okay, full PPR, Wan'Dale Robinson or Darnell Mooney? Yeah, I feel much more comfortable rolling with Wan'Dale Robinson. I think the Cowboys pass rush are certainly going to put Justin Fields on his heels. He's definitely going to be swarmed for the majority of that game. I think Mooney going up against the one-on-one matchup of Trayvon Diggs is not something that I'm too comfortable with at this moment. So I'm going to go Wan'Dale Robinson there, being the primary option within that offense. Appreciate it. Mike V says, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you guys as well. Of course, week 8. We're not even close. I mean, we've only just finished halfway through the regular fantasy football season. We still got 7 more weeks here, and then we got 3 fantasy. Well, actually, in some cases, 4. Hopefully, you guys don't play in a Week 18 championship, but you never know. Let's see here. Got to pick one for the flex full PPR. Allen Robinson, J-Rob, Claypool, Gibson. Thanks, man. Yeah, no problem. So at this moment in a full PPR, I just want to confirm, where the heck do I have Antonio Gibson comparatively? I'm fairly certain I'm going to have Allen Robinson as the highest potential ranked player. Antonio Gibson 72, and Allen Robinson is, where art thou? Yeah, I have Allen Robinson as the highest ranked player there in a full PPR scoring format. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. Let's see here. What does it say? Yeah, Big DLY 23 says, no questions, just thanks for the content. Good luck this week, y'all. Hope Chase is back healthy and soon. Yeah, I mean, listen, again, my understanding for them not putting him on the injury reserve is that if you're not going to put him on the injury reserve, it's because you believe he can come back within, probably before 4 weeks even kind of expires here. So he misses the next 2 games. They hit a bye week. He's off for 3 weeks there. He gets about 20, and then he may not even practice in that 4th week. He could probably get up to a month off before he plays his next game, which would be good for him. All right, so I see a couple of comments in the comment section. For those of you who are wondering, again, the rankings on screen should give you guys some answers. So people are asking questions like Geno or Dak Prescott, Wan'Dale Robinson or Pickens, Olave or St. Brown, Michael Carter or DeAndre Swift. Again, those questions can be answered on screen immediately to the right of me. Again, those are available to you for free. So take them and do the best with with those rankings that you can. Dale Derrick says, traded Mahomes for Kupp and Carr. I have Carr, Henry, Kupp, Diggs, Ertz, Waddle, Swift. Full PPR. Swift or Pittman this week. I'd play Swift absolutely without a doubt. Would you trade up at quarterback? I mean, at this point, if you can improve Derek Carr and go to Justin Herbert, I'd love that. But if you can't, then I'm okay with the current position that you're kind of sitting in right now. Leo Bologna says, 4 point per passing touchdown. Do I go with Goff or Geno Smith this week? Worried about the Seattle wide receivers, and I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, listen, again, like I was mentioning to you guys, rankings are on screen. I have Jared Goff as my number 9 overall quarterback in the given week. I have Geno at number 11, so I am 1,000% going with Jared Goff this week. I think with Swift back, with Amon-Ra St. Brown back against Miami secondary, this is going to be a shootout of potential sorts. Whether it is a shootout where Miami scores 30 points in the first half, and then we see Jared Goff come back in the second half, so be it. But at least we're going to see a lot of fantasy points going back and forth. Hopefully, Russell Wilson can lead this team on a good drive here. I need some Cortland Sutton points, for goodness sake. Russell, throw the ball, my man. Oh my God, man. You know what's actually just, it is shocking to see the lack of mobility that Wilson shows within the pocket. His inability to keep his legs moving in the pocket is ridiculous. He's a statue back there. His lower body stops moving about 3 seconds into the play. I don't understand why. It's like he gets stuck to the ground and then he just rotates his hip and just tries to throw the worst possible pass to get intercepted every time. I don't get it. They just run that ball on 2nd and 10. Why? But why? All right, anyway. Moving back. Let's see here. Nathan Williams says, choose one for the flex full PPR, CeeDee Lamb or DeAndre Swift. Let me check my rankings right now in a full PPR. I currently have, let's see here. I have DeAndre Swift ahead of CeeDee Lamb. So I'm going to play Swift there. Thank you. Let's see here. Moving on. We had Terry send in a question. Terry R says, Pittman for Gordon and Wan'Dale Robinson. If you're in desperate need of a running back and that's why you're making that swap, I would say okay to a capacity. But at this moment, Terry, I think I kind of want to wait and see what we can get out of Pittman this week before I send him off. Because if Ellinger is actually an upgrade for Matt Ryan in terms of the capacity of throwing the ball down the field, what was that bomb? Oh my God. I mean, Dulcich could have caught that pass. By the way, if you guys are wondering, I don't even want to show it on screen because I don't want to get DMCA'd or anything. But yes, I am watching the game on my phone. So, yeah, I think, Terry, I'm going to keep what you have and just keep it moving. The play calling for Denver is horrendous. Yeah, I'm barely watching the game. I just think that Russell Wilson just doesn't know what he's doing out there. I don't know. The fact that he wasn't able to put that ball, I mean, Dulcich is wide open and no one's even around him. I don't know. CB says, play 2 in a standard league. D'Onta Foreman, Michael Carter, Brian Robinson, DJ Moore. Okay, cool. In a standard scoring format, if I'm playing 2 of these potential options, my favorites out of the 2 would be D'Onta Foreman, and then I would go Brian Robinson there. Those are the 2 in a standard format that I prefer. Thank you. Black Jesus says, pick 2 in a full PPR. Rhamondre Stevenson, Swift, or Pollard. Again, as of right now, I think it's probably going to be the same in a full PPR that it is in a half. I don't think I'm really shifting on those guys. Let me confirm this. Full PPR, I have Pollard, Stevenson, Swift in that exact order. Pollard, Stevenson, Swift. Thank you. Moving on to trades on tap. Says, what's your outlook with Leonard Fournette? Trying to trade him. Yeah, I would probably look to trade him as well. Oh, nice Christian Kirk. Let's go. At this moment, the issue that I have with Leonard Fournette is his lack of receiving potential. The fact that he continues to not get that much needed 5+ receptions, that is beginning to really start to impact his overall production. The last 2 weeks, having himself less than 10 rushing attempts in both contests is also very concerning. Hopefully the offense can turn it around, but if they're not able to, he's a guy that you want to probably sell right now. Let's see here. Okay. Now that we've caught up there, I can join the chat. Okay, let's see here. Dramatic Prod says, Aaron Jones or Devonta Smith in a full point PPR scoring format. Let's see here. Currently, Dramatic, where do I have these guys in a full PPR flex position? I have Aaron Jones. I have Aaron Jones behind Devonta Smith right now in a full PPR. Gesicki, Trevor. What does that mean, Patrick? Oh, you're answering the question for Trevor. You just didn't add him. Got it. Never mind. Understood. Eno Benjamin or DJ Moore in a standard format. I would play Eno Benjamin there. I'm fairly comfortable there. Waffle, again, rankings are on the screen, my man. Are they running a Philly special with Zay Jones running the ball in? Oh my God. Zay Jones couldn't make a man miss to save his life. Man, he didn't even attempt to try to cut back in. He just ran and just right into his blocking guy, like the guy in front of him. This is what I don't understand. Why would you run straight into the guy in front of you? Like, he's blocking and he's not moving. Just run away. ETN 151. Is that how many yards he has? That's incredible. We love to see it. I would love to see him score a touchdown here at the end of this drive, though. That would make my day. Yo, Andrew, McLaurin or D'Onta Foreman? I would go with Foreman this week. Come on, get him in the end zone. No way we're going to run short here and then Trevor Lawrence is going to steal it again, right? No way. I can't have it. My mental will not last. Okay, yeah, let's talk about some defensive rankings and kicker rankings. Here we go. Because Shane was asking, or not Shane, Dexter Brett was asking about it. Let's go over this real quick, okay? Is it actually raining over there in London? That's crazy. All right, top 10 defenses. Here we go, guys. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Buffalo Bills. Number 4, New England Patriots. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers. Number 6, New York Jets. Number 7, Tennessee Titans. Number 8, Washington Commanders. Number 9, Indianapolis Colts. Number 10, Minnesota Vikings. Did they actually get stuffed again? I'm going to lose my mind. Top 10 kickers. We have Carlson, McPherson, Maher, Bass, Elliott, Myers, Gano, Sanders, Joseph, Gay, and then we also have Will Lutz as the final option there if in fact you're trying to really go for the crazy play at the end. Is Robbie Anderson a sleeper option? I would say probably not. He could get himself a touchdown, but come on, ETN, get in the end zone. Did he score? Thank you. Let's go. Big. Let's go. That's what we love to see, man. I mean, ETN's a stud. And now we have ourselves a game in which Russell Wilson is not going to be able to clutch. Carl says, please help. I'm on my smartphone. I can't read the rankings. Yeah, I got you. It's Eno ahead of Foreman in a half PPR. But just to give you some semblance there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rack up all the rankings and I'm going to post it in the comment section right now, just so you're good to go. Okay. So give me a moment here and I'll get to it in just a second. So let me see here. If I go to my comment section, where's my YouTube? If I go here, I go edit, I go to my comment section and we go here. Let me do this. Yeah. I'm gonna post it in the comment section, okay? Give me a moment. It'll take a couple minutes to update. Hopefully, it won't take that long, but I'm gonna post my rankings in the comment section for those of you who are mobile, so that you can see, just in case you don't have a visual representation that's clear enough at this moment. I'm almost done. Just need to paste tight ends in there, and we're good to go. So this time around, I have the position. I have their numbers next to their name as well in the comment section. If you guys could do me a favor, I just saved that. If you can let me know just by putting up a thumbs up in the chat when that's updated. So if someone could travel to just refresh the page and then go down to the comment section, go down to the description, not comment section, my apologies. Go down to the description and check if the description has my rankings in it, quarterback all the way down. It should be a giant list. If it's in there, just drop a thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that. Alrighty. Matt sends in a question, says, Moreau, Bryant, or Knox? In a full PPR scoring format, I would rather play Harrison Bryant this week. Anthony says, thumbs up. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Ashley says, full PPR flex. Curtis Samuel, Wan'Dale Robinson, Eno Benjamin. I would go Eno Benjamin this week. The second option there would be Curtis Samuel. Thank you. Jeremy Williams says, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Jeremy Williams says, full PPR, Devonta Smith, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Cooks, McLaurin, Pickens, Curtis Samuel. Devonta Smith, Jacoby Myers. Those are my 1 and 2 options there for right now. Moving on, we have definitely not an athlete. Says, back to Aaron Jones, Tyler Boyd, Gabriel Davis, half PPR. Thank you. Okay. So considering we're in a half PPR, sorry, I completely forgot about that. Not an athlete. My apologies. As of this moment, if we're looking at those options in a half PPR, let's go ahead and Control F. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is number 35 in my half PPR. I have Gabriel Davis and Tyler Boyd at number 32 and 33. So I'm playing both the receivers over Aaron Jones this week. Thank you. Swift or Benjamin, again, Charlie, if you're just joining us, the rankings are on screen. So as you can see, I have Swift as my number 12 back, and I have Eno Benjamin as my number 18. Again, if you can't see it on screen, there's rankings in the description of the video. So go down to the description, click that, expand it, and it is on screen, ranked, good to go. Oh my God, he made a play. Oh my God. KJ Hamler. Oh my God, we got a game. Holy moly, Russell Wilson threw a good pass. Finally, the curse has been broken. Let's see here. AJ Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Again, guys, a lot of the questions I'm seeing in the chat can be answered on screen. So whether it's Schultz or Higbee, can be answered on screen. Waffle, if you message Geno or Dak Prescott again, I swear I'll ban you. I don't want to see it ever again, bruh. How many times are you sending that question when the ranking is literally on the screen? I'll ban you, Waffle. I swear. ETN has 25 points. Let's go. That's huge. That's fantastic. Let's see here. Frank the Tank, where you at, my man? Frank says, rolling with DK Metcalf off the injury or Pickens? I think it'd probably just be safer to roll with George Pickens, mainly because Pickens plays in the early window as well. So does he not? Let me check. So you may not have an option. You might just have to play Pickens. Yeah. Pickens plays in about 45 minutes, and Seattle plays in the afternoon. Well, in my Pacific Standard Time afternoon window. So you might just have to play Pickens because you don't know if DK is actually going to play in the afternoon. So yeah, that's my suggestion there. Dominic says, full PPR spot Terry McLaurin or Brian Robinson. At this point, let me go check full PPR. Where are we at? Terry McLaurin. I have Brian Robinson ahead of him. Thank you. Nah, I didn't ban him. I don't want to see somebody ask a question 12 times, which can literally be answered on screen for free with no hesitation and no interference with me. Before Work says, are we not trusting Willis yet? Yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's not. I don't think it's a dumb question at all. Before, mainly because again, the assumption is that he can run the ball. But my biggest issue is I haven't seen it enough positive plays from Malik Willis, whether it was in the preseason, to convince me to play him. And I 100% believe that the receivers within this offense are not complementary enough to help. Oh my God, Russell Wilson's running. Russell Wilson wants to win. I don't think that that slide was awful. I agree, traumatic. That was awful. I don't believe the complementary wide receiver pieces around him are going to be relevant enough to keep him as a good enough, quarterback option. And quite frankly, if we're thinking about it logically, if in fact they decided by Wednesday, for example, giving the Tennessee Titans organization the benefit of the doubt, by Wednesday they knew Ryan Tannehill was not going to play, so they gave Malik Willis first team reps. Do you guys think they changed the offense much? Probably not. So for as much as we see Tannehill run the ball, we'll see probably Malik Willis run a little bit more, but ultimately he's just going to be handing the ball off to Henry for majority of this game. Trade Dalvin Cook for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gus Edwards. I don't know the current status of Gus Edwards. That's my biggest concern there. All right. Incredible. So I'm not 100% certain there. Pick 2, half PPR, Gabriel Davis, Ayuk, Rhamondre, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'd play Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rhamondre there, Jack. Thank you. I have no choice but to trust Wilson. I got Fields as my other. Hayden, are you talking about Russell Wilson? Because I had Russell Wilson ranked higher than Justin Fields this week. So I'm not against the idea of playing him. And obviously, if he closes out this drive, we might have ourselves a pretty good week out of him. Hey, Andrew, not on screen, full PPR. Rondell Moore, Romeo Doubs, Darrell Henderson, Robert Tonyan, or Josh Reynolds. Yeah, no problem, Tim. Let's help you out here. In a full PPR scoring format of the available options, I believe Rondell Moore is going to be my suggestion, but I can confirm this. Who was the tight end that was involved there? Tonyan, Henderson, Dobbs. Yeah. Rondell Moore of the Arizona Cardinals is my highest ranked player of the mentioned guys you have there. Thank you. Where's ETN in the rankings? ETN is not in the rankings because the rankings literally don't need him. He already started playing. Why would he need to be here? He started playing at 6:30 a.m. I started the stream at 7:50. You know what I mean? There's no point to add a player on screen when the whole point is to, of course, give you guys as much information as possible. Let's see here. Why is Kenneth Walker so high? I love it. Kenneth Walker's higher on the list, mainly because there is an uncertainty regarding the passing game for the Seahawks because the wide receiver position is a little bit of a tricky situation, and because there's a 50% chance of that game becoming a rain game. And if that's going to be the case, I'm expecting them to commit to the running game. And when they do, they'll continue to find success with Mr. Kenneth Walker. That run blocking attack from Seattle is just, it's oh man, it's ridiculous. Patrick says, I think the Bears are going to cover today. You think the Bears are going to cover? Whew. I mean, how many points are they being given? 7? Is it 6.5 or is it 7 right now? Let's see here. Troy says, as much as I want these Broncos players to gain value, I play Jacksonville. Yeah, that's unfortunate. KJ Hamler making plays. Nice first down. Let's go. Couple more. Okay, so Soy Sergio, huh? Sends in a question. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Says, Dalvin Cook or Amon-Ra St. Brown in a full PPR. Let me check my rankings. In a flex position this week, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown ahead of him. Thank you. Let's see here. Verna sends in a question. Says, half PPR. Who would you play in the flex? Dameon Harris or Zach Ertz? I already have Kittle. I would 1,000% feel comfortable playing Zach Ertz this week. Thank you. Let's see here. Walker's a beast. What are we talking about here? Yeah, we're not talking about anything. We're just saying he's a beast. We're praising him, Hayden. Don't worry. Eno Benjamin or Tyler Lockett? Costa. I would play Eno. Do we... Wait, Jason says, can we trust St. Brown and Adams today? Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I know Adams is coming off of, he had an illness this week and he didn't practice because of it. But the report that I read said that he has felt better later on in the week. So Friday, Saturday, he felt a lot better. So I'm assuming he's going to be well equipped with the hydration he needs. They're going to put an IV in him. They're going to give him his Pedialyte. He'll be good to go. And with no Marshawn Lattimore covering him, he's going to dominate against the New Orleans secondary. Would you rather have Allgeier in the flex or Gallup since Brown is out, full PPR? I think it's about balance. I think if Gallup could very easily get himself 5 catches for 50 yards, the game Latavius Murray, second week for a touchdown. And now we have ourselves an even more ridiculous game here. I love seeing both these running backs rush for touchdowns, but my goodness, what are they? I mean, what is this backfield? It's just a 50-50 split, I guess. Just to give you, what was the question I was talking about? I completely lost track. Oh yeah, Allgeier or Michael Gallup. I think Gallup is very capable for 5 catches, 50 yards. I think on the other end of the coin, Allgeier is very capable of 60 rushing yards. Allgeier has to score a touchdown though. And he only just scored his first touchdown last week. So that's 1 out of the 4 games that he started that he scored a touchdown. I'd probably just lean in the direction of Gallup with Noah Brown out. Carter says Brandon Cooks or Dameon Harris. It would be Brandon Cooks there. Thank you. Playing against Adams, please just... I don't know if that's going to happen. Curtis Samuel or Rondell Moore? I prefer Curtis Samuel this week. Let's see here. Bangin' Brass says, Beard game strong. Appreciate that. Thank you. Says, who would you start in the Superflex? Ellinger or St. Brown? Haha, I think I'm going to play St. Brown there, actually. As much as I think Ellinger has the potential of scoring a touchdown, I think if you're in any sort of half or full PPR capacity, I'd much rather just play with St. Brown there. All right, let's see here. Ernesto says, full PPR, David Montgomery, Chase Claypool, who's Ron Rivers? Or Van Jefferson? Who are we talking about there? Who the heck is Ron Rivers? What the heck is that? Is that a nickname for somebody? I'm assuming it is, but who the heck is it? At this point, out of the potential options you mentioned, I'm probably going to roll with Montgomery there. When you say Ron Rivers, you mean like Rondell? Is that what you're saying? Ernesto says, who the heck is Ronnie? Am I just getting trolled, my man? I might just be getting trolled. For the Rams? No, don't no. Bruh, no. No. Don't do it. Ron Rivers is rumored on Reddit to starting for the Rams. What does Reddit know though? That's my question. Okay, here's the question. Who posted that, and how much of a relevant post history do they have on Reddit? That's my question. I'm not playing. I couldn't. I don't even trust Darrell Henderson, guys. How do you think I'm gonna suggest Ron Rivers? No way. Rumor on Reddit is that you guys listen to Reddit too much, man. If Reddit is correct and Ron Rivers gets the first snap of the game and is the starting running back, okay? By all means, I'll never question Reddit again. You guys could tell me Reddit has Adam Thielen starting at quarterback this week. I'll say, all right, he is. But at this point, I don't believe it. Some guy knows the athletic trainer. I mean, I just can't. That's not enough for me to even moderately suggest him in any sort of capacity. Can't do it. Pepe says, London or Pickens? I would play George Pickens there, Pepe. Appreciate it. Eric Powell says, Garrett Wilson or Romeo Dobbs? I'd play Romeo Dobbs. Thank you. Cinco 2X says, we still taking, who do we have here? What does this even say? Are we still taking Peoples-Jones over Gallup with Brown out? Yes. Mainly because, again... Wait, do I have Peoples-Jones ahead of him on screen? Let me just confirm. I do, right? Yeah. The rankings on screen, by the way, Cinco was under the assumption that Noah Brown is out. That's the only reason why Gallup's in the top 36. Thank you. Did Lawrence just throw a pick? No, CPO, he actually is a player. I just, listen, dude. You cannot get me going there. Must start players video. X-Men. I didn't do a must start players video this week because on Thursday we did rest of season strength of schedule video, and on Friday we did rest of season rankings video, updated to send that in your guys' direction. Ernesto says, I called him myself and he says he's playing, bro. Even that is not enough for me to suggest him, bro. Listen, here's the thing. Him telling you that he's playing doesn't mean he's going to be good either. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Because just in general, right? Let's see here. Let me check something, guys. I'm just curious. I'm going to look up a stat real quick. Alrighty, so let's see here. I'm going to do us all a favor real quick and just check a couple things out. So where are thou? Okay, here we go. Where is it? Okay, cool. So in the last 6 games that the Rams have played against the 49ers, okay, here's some bottom line stats for y'all, okay? Just so we're all on the same page. In the last 6 games that they've played against each other, all right, here we go. The Rams, last time they played against them, had a total of 57 rushing yards. The time before that had a total of 64 rushing yards. The time before that had a total of 52 rushing yards. The time before that had a total of 126 rushing yards. That was back when Cam Akers had his breakout game of the season, where he had a huge 60-yard run. And then they had another game in which they had, at the beginning of 2020, 100 rushing yards. And they had a 5.9 yard per carry average against the 49ers, which was the last time that they were actually playing well in the running game. So in the last 6 games against them, we have quite frankly, as of late, seen pretty much about 50 rushing yards per game from the Rams against this defense. Not really interested in running any of those running backs. That's why Henderson sits where he is on screen in the first place. Anyway, all right. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, if you all could do me a solid, click that like button down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Again, we got rankings on screen ready to go for y'all. If you have any questions regarding which quarterbacks to play, which tight ends to play, which wide receivers, I know Manuel in the chat just asked DK Metcalf top 20 if he plays. I think so. If he plays, but that's the thing. Does he play? Is he going to have a, setback in the pregame? We don't know these things. I thought he was going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. The fact that he's even in contention of playing today is beyond, I just don't get it. Let's see here. No, that's not Wandell. That's Waddle. Waddle or Mixon in the flex, full PPR. All right, let's see if we can help answer that question. In a full PPR this week, I have, where is my full PPR rankings? I have Mixon ahead of Waddle. So that's what I would go with. Let's see here. Did he really throw a pick? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he threw a pick. The game's over. It's a 4th and 1, and they're not kicking a field goal. This is blasphemous, right? Oh my God, Russell Wilson just got crunched. Oh my gosh. I think it's game over though. Andrew Clark says defensive rankings. Yeah, let's do that. Max Payne also said defensive rankings. Let's do it. Cooper Rush is better than Dak. Patrick, you are so mistaken. It is absurd. Have you seen the statistics? Have you seen the splits? Go look at his splits compared to first down to second and third down. He is literally the worst quarterback in the league on second and third down in terms of passing completion percentage, average depth of target, and overall effectiveness in terms of passer rating. So let's see here. Let's talk about defenses, shall we? Top 10. Let's go ahead and let's mention these guys, shall we? Top 10 defenses. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Buffalo Bills. Number 4, New England Patriots. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers. Number 6, New York Jets. Number 7, Tennessee Titans. Number 8, Washington Commanders. Number 9, Indianapolis Colts. Number 10, Minnesota Vikings. Those will be the top 10 defenses for this week that are remaining. As for top 10 kickers, we have Daniel Carlson, number 1. Evan McPherson, number 2. Brett Maher, number 3. We have Tyler Bass, number 4. Jake Elliott, number 5. Jason Myers, number 6. Graham Gano, number 7. Jason Sanders, number 8. Greg Joseph, number 9. Matt Gay, number 10. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hopefully that helps you guys kind of get everything settled in terms of, those kind of kickers and defenses, if you still play with kickers and defenses in your league. Man, the Broncos win, and the Broncos pretty much saved the job of their head coach. I think Nathaniel Hackett was on the hot seat. If he lost this game, he's gone. He doesn't make the flight home with the team. He's fired in the locker room. That's what I was thinking. But anyway, a couple more donations were sent in. Appreciate you guys sending those in. Pro922 says, half PPR, Monty, Pickens, Foreman, Wandell. If I'm picking two options there, I'm probably going with Foreman and Montgomery. Let me confirm that I have Montgomery ahead of Pickens before I give you said information and I steer you down the wrong path. Pickens. I have Pickens in a flex position there. I have David Montgomery. Yeah, I have David Montgomery 9 spots ahead of him. So Montgomery and Foreman are my suggestions there. Pro922. Thank you. Cody Shannon says T. Higgins or Tony Pollard. Non-PPR. I go Tony Pollard there. Thank you very much. Troy, let me see what you got here, my man. 1 second here, Troy. Sorry, Troy. All right, Troy says, where are we at? Andrew, they're so close. Singletary or Pittman in a half PPR. Let me see here. Half PPR rankings. Singletary. I have Devin Singletary at 41. I have Michael Pittman at 47. So I'm playing Singletary there this week. Thank you. Troy, appreciate that. Did you have another question, Troy? That was it. Cool. All right, awesome. Thank you. Moving on. Kevin Sheeran. Thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate it. Says, flex Aaron Jones, D'Onta Foreman, or Ayuk in a half PPR. I'm going to check that right now. Let's go to my rankings. Let's look up Ayuk in my flex. I'm fairly certain he's going to be behind Aaron Jones, but I could be mistaken to a capacity. I am mistaken. I have Brandon Ayuk is my number 31 and Aaron Jones is my number 35. So I have Ayuk ahead of him in a half PPR right now. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to go Ayuk, Jones, then Foreman in that order. Kai Life documented says start 3 PPR RBs. JT, Stevenson, Pollard, K9. Kenneth Walker, number 1. Jonathan Taylor, number 2. Tony Pollard, number 3. I'm sitting Stevenson. Thank you. Ernesto says, no question, just love. Hey, that's very generous of you, Ernesto. You don't need to send that in, my man. But I do appreciate that, helping keep the lights on. These very bright lights that keep Andrew sweating for majority of streams. But hey, that's greatly appreciated. Thank you, Ernesto. Much love. Joshua says, start the Jets or Titans defense. Hopefully you had heard, but if you had not, I currently have the Jets defense ahead of the Titans going into this week. So that's where I'm going to go with. The Jets defense has been really relevant in fantasy as of late. And I don't think they're going to slow down anytime soon, specifically up against the Patriots this week. Let me see here. Specifically, New York Jets in the last couple weeks, defensively, 7, 20, 9, 12. I mean, they've been relevant, and they've been pretty good defensively. I think they're going to continue that consistency this week. And they're going to play themselves a pretty good game here. So, yeah, I like the matchup overall. Leo says, pick 2, Aaron Jones, D'Onta Foreman, Wan'Dale Robinson. I play both those running backs there, Leo. Aaron Jones and D'Onta Foreman. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. Who has more upside, Danny Dimes or Kirk Cousins? At this moment, I think the upside is probably in the position of Daniel Dimes. And the reason why I say that is because if, in fact, this game gets to that rain capacity like it's expected in the second half, and he begins to run the ball as much as we have seen him do thus far this season, about 10 times, in the rain, he could very easily yoink a couple touchdowns and be over 20 fantasy points by the end of the week. So that's kind of where I'm leaning in. Kai Life says, man, it's so hard to bench Stevenson. He's been 20 plus points. Yeah, I agree. So if you would like, the next best option, okay, let's say, for example, you're 100% in on, like, you want to play Stevenson, then at that point you're benching Taylor then. Because I have, without a doubt in my mind, am going to play Kenneth Walker and Pollard before those two other guys. So if you want to play Stevenson over Taylor, that's on you. But again, whatever your gut feeling is on the matter, roll with it. Trust your gut. Lockett or Devontae Smith? Justin, I played Devontae Smith in a full PPR. DK today or not? You know what, Michael Barton? That is a great question. At this moment, Michael, I'm probably leaning towards the idea that he does play. As to what capacity, I would assume that they're going to play him because he is healthy. Not because they're just throwing him out as a distraction. Now, if they throw him out there and he's just a distractionary play, that is super unfortunate. But again, we're not 100% certain as to what his status kind of sits at. The initial report as to his injury was patella related. And if it was an actual patella related injury, the dude should be out for 3-4 weeks. But maybe he's just Superman and he's a Terminator, like I call him. That's my nickname for DK Metcalf. And if he's good to go, then let's play him. Jorge says, in a full PPR, Dameon Harris, Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds, or Nyheim Hines? Really good question. I'm actually leaning towards either. I think probably Kareem Hunt is the best play there. I think the next best play is most likely Nyheim Hines, because I think Nyheim Hines could very easily get away with 5 catches. I think another play that I might want to suggest to you, Jorge, I'd probably say you play Hunt, but if another option is available like Rex Burkhead catches like 5 passes a week, and in a full PPR could be a decent sneaky option just to get some semblance of points. Mostert or Boyd, Falcons or Titans defense. I currently have the Titans defense ahead of the Falcons. They're miles. And in a full PPR, Mostert or Boyd, let me check out what we have here in a full PPR. I'm fairly certain, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain I have Boyd ahead of him. Maybe I don't. Let me check. No, I don't. I have Raheem Mostert as my number 26 in a full PPR, followed by Boyd as my number 31. So we're rolling Mostert against Detroit and just letting him completely take over. Again, do not forget, the Detroit Lions matchup is a revenge game for Raheem Mostert as well. Besides being the most advantageous matchup on the week, considering the Detroit Lions are giving up more than 22 fantasy points per game on the ground in rushing statistics alone to opposing running backs. The fact that they have given up over 20 fantasy points to 5 different running backs this season already. The fact that it's a revenge game because last year, week 1, he had a season-ending injury against the Detroit Lions. There's a lot of pent-up aggression that is going to be built up for Raheem Mostert. He's going for a massive play. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm not saying I'm moving him in my rankings. But if there's a running back to finish as the number 1 of the week that shouldn't be in that conversation and currently isn't, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a position of where Raheem Mostert goes for a top 5 week. I wouldn't be surprised, mainly because of the matchup and because we know his talent, his talent is there and the opportunity is there. But anyway, moving on. 808 all day says, I need a help this week in terms of a running back and a flex play. I have Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Taylor, Miles Sanders, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Terry McLaurin. I'm confused here, 808. You're telling me that you aren't starting any of those guys? I would play Kenneth Walker and I would play Jonathan Taylor and I would close my eyes and go to sleep because your fantasy team won this week because you're stacked. Big Moose says bench 1, Pollard, JT, Saquon, Walker. No joke. I'm benching Jonathan Taylor. I'm playing Walker, Saquon, and Pollard ahead of him. Good to go there. Miles, yeah, I like Titans ahead of Falcons. Deontay Johnson or Michael Pittman Jr. I'd play Michael Pittman this week. Pick 2, St. Brown, Waddle, or AJB. I play AJB and probably, what is the format? Half PPR? Yeah, like I said, guys, the rankings on screen are up to date for a half PPR. So I do have AJ Brown ahead of Waddle in that capacity. So again, if you're wondering where I would go in some of those questions that you guys have, again, the rankings on screen should be able to kind of at least guide you in the direction as to where I would want to go in a half PPR scoring format. If in fact it's a flex question, like you're comparing a running back in comparison to a wide receiver or a tight end, obviously that is not available on screen because that would require just as much room. And I offer that via Patreon to those who support me there. So again, if you guys want those rankings, you can go ahead and check out the link in the description. Check that out. Otherwise, the rankings on screen should help you out for half PPR. Again, we will mention, let's go ahead. Let's mention defensive rankings again. Just in case for those of you who missed out on them earlier, I'll just mention them one more time here before the end of today's stream. Again, we got 20 more minutes here, so we got a lot of questions to answer, but let's just go over some kickers and defenses really quickly here, shall we? The game is ended. Let me close my phone before it overheats. Defensive rankings. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Buffalo Bills. Number 4, New England Patriots. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers. Number 6, New York Jets. Number 7, Tennessee Titans. Number 8, Washington Commanders. Number 9, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Number 10, Minnesota Vikings. Moving on. We have kickers, top 12. Number 1, Daniel Carlson. Number 2, Evan McPherson. Number 3, Brett Maher. Number 4, Tyler Bass. Number 5, Jake Elliott. Number 6, Jason Myers. Number 7, Graham Gano. Number 8, Jason Sanders. Number 9, Greg Joseph. Number 10, Matt Gay. Thank you very much. That covers kickers and defenses. Let's get back to answering questions. VW fan 32 says, start 2 in a full PPR. Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, and Singletary. Out of the mentioned players, VW fan, I am playing Mostert and I am playing Kenneth Walker. Those are the 2 guys that I would love to play out of your team. Phil sends in a question, says, Colts, Patriots defense. I would play the Patriots defense over the Colts this week. As for your follow-up question, Stevenson or Amari Cooper in the flex full PPR, I would play Stevenson there. Thank you very much, Phil. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Liam Carter says, should I trade A.J. Brown and ETN for Cup? Rules are PP5. What is that? Point per what? 5 yards? Is that what it is? If it's point per 5 yards, yes, I would rather have ETN. Even if it's point per reception, I'd rather have ETN, quite frankly. I don't really trust A.J. Brown at that capacity. Eno Benjamin or Tyler Lockett? Costa, Eno. Should I drop Graham Gano for Tyler Bass? The only reason, Cameron, I've moved Graham Gano down on my rankings is because there's an expectation of rain in that game. And if that's the case, I don't know how consistent the kicking game may be. They might go for it more often in terms of on 4th down when they're even in field goal range because of that. So I am worried there. The only issue I have with Tyler Bass is because they're so good on offense, they might not even kick any field goals. And if that's going to be the case, he might finish with 5 points just off PATs alone. So it is tough there. But yes, I mean, as of right now, I'm kind of in the direction of just rolling with Tyler Bass because I'm not 100% certain as to what that weather looks like in Seattle, more than just a 50% chance of rain based on the reports I read this morning. Gabriel Davis, Tyler Boyd, or Eno Benjamin in the flex full PPR. I'm fairly certain I can confirm that I have Tyler Boyd ahead of the bunch, but just to confirm, let's go ahead and look this up. I currently have Tyler Boyd ahead of Gabriel Davis and Eno Benjamin. So Tyler Boyd's my suggestion out of those. Start James Robinson. Eddie, what's the other options? Again, I have rankings on screen, so if you have another running back option that is on screen and is higher than him in the rankings, then you play them. Otherwise, J-Rob is an okay option, I suppose. PPR 5, what does that mean? Liam, what is a PPR 5? You mean half point PPR? I need you, Liam, I need you to do me a favor and write a full sentence. Don't put PPR, put point per reception and put half or full. I need the full sentence. I need the full scope of understanding because otherwise I don't get what you mean by PP5. Joel Garza says full PPR, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Waddle, D-Hop, Olave, Rhamondre. I need 2 options there. In a full PPR, I'm fairly certain I'm playing D-Hop and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can confirm this real quick, though. Currently, in a full PPR, where's Rhamondre compared to the bunch? Yeah, I'm playing Amon-Ra St. Brown and D-Hop there. Thank you. Moving on. Let's see here. We had a question from Pedro's Lucario. Says, Amari Cooper or David Montgomery in a standard format? Ooh, goodness. That's a really good one. Every 5 receptions, you get 4 points. I have never seen that rule, Liam. Every 5 receptions, you get 4 points. So it's not a point per reception. What's the math on that? It's a little bit less, obviously, but it's, what is that, 0.75 per reception? So 5 divided by 4. I'm sorry, 4 divided by 5. 0.8 per reception. Okay, so if that's the format, technically, Liam, still I'd rather have ETN. So yeah, it's like 0.8 per reception. So they nerf receivers in receiving total upside a little bit, just to kind of balance it out. Mostert or Rhamondre? I have Rhamondre ahead of him right now, like it shows on screen right now. Thank you. Eno Benjamin or Pittman? I have Eno Benjamin ahead of him. Okay, we did that. Full PPR: Gabe Davis, Rhamondre Stevenson, Tyler Boyd, St. Brown. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Stevenson and St. Brown there. Bama blood. Let's see here. I have Derek Carr and the Jets defense. Should I play Renfro over Myers in order to avoid hurting my defense points? Trevor, it doesn't hurt your defensive points. No. Again, guys, if the Patriots are to score a touchdown and your Jets defense gets negative points, the logic that Jacoby Myers is not helping your team because you're starting him is ass backwards. If anything, he's evening it out because that touchdown was going to happen anyway. So you absolutely need to play Jacoby Myers. Not because defensive wise, just because he's the better player, because I'm expecting him to score more points. And quite frankly, he's been far better this season. So do not listen, I do it all the time. I play defenses against my own quarterbacks. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. If you expect the defense to get interceptions, get sacks, not allow many points, they're going to get points for you. So regardless of what your other prospect does, it doesn't do anything. Moving on. Stefan McCall says, I need help, chat. All right, Stefan, let's see what you got here, my man. Stefan, you didn't even type a question in the chat yet, my guy. Where's your question? Andrew, you never answered Super Chat. Pedro, I just did. Oh, I didn't. I never did. Holy moly. You see, that's what happens, dude. I get sidetracked and the brain just wanders. Amari Cooper or David Montgomery this week in a standard scoring format. I'm probably going David Montgomery there. Mainly because Amari Cooper needs 10 plus targets. And quite frankly, against Chidobe Awuzie, Hinton, those guys, I don't see it. Swift or CeeDee Lamb in a standard? Swift. Montgomery or Pittman in a full PPR? You know what? That's a good question. Let me check here. Full PPR, Montgomery. I have Pittman ahead of him. Moving on. Najee or Eno? Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Play Eno. I'm stuck on this one. Should I sit Waddle for Mostert? What's your format there, Sleaze? Stafford or Jimmy G? I'd rather play Jimmy G 100%. He's been pretty good in the last 3 weeks. 2 passing touchdowns each of the last 3 games. I'm all in on him. Will Sauce be shadowing Myers? No, Sauce plays on the outside, guys. He's not the slot cornerback for the Jets. So he'll be on the outside. He'll be following Devontae Parker and or Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne for the majority of that game. William says it's your CTE. I agree. It is. You're not wrong. William, you're about to be a doctor. You tell me. You think it's a CTE or it's just my brain? It's just my my ADHD that I've built up over the last couple of years being at home for so long. Full PPR, Tyler Allgeier or Wan'Dale Robinson. Probably play Wan'Dale there. Squidward season says no to that. All right, Squidward. If I look it up and you're wrong, I'm banning you. We're not messing around here. I don't like misinformation, and if you're wrong, the ban hammer's coming down, my man. If you're right, I don't mind being wrong. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, we're checking it out. I need to check a couple things here. Let's go here. We're putting your knowledge to the test here, Squidward. All right, you ready for this? Here comes the ban. Here it comes. Sauce Gardner has played in the slot position as a cornerback 6 snaps this season. You want to know how many total snaps he's played? Well, he has played quite literally. What is this? Holy moly. He has played a total of 461 defensive snaps, 6 of them in the slot position. Squidward, no more misinformation. You're getting banned, my guy. Now, actually, I'll give you a warning, Squidward. No more, okay? Okay? I won't ban you. Just no misinformation. I don't like that. All right? Don't come out here and start spewing bullshit. All right? What beard cream do you use? None. All natural, baby. All genetics. I'm just here for the drama. Yeah, no, listen, dude. The fact that I just heard someone said that he's going to be covering Jacoby Myers, who, by the way, Jacoby Myers, okay, maybe I'm mistaken and Jacoby Myers doesn't play in the slot. Let's go check this out. Where are we at? Boom, 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 receiving. Jacoby Myers plays in the slot position in the last 3 weeks. 71, 79, 78% of the time. He's in the slot, man. That's what he is. He's a slot receiver. Sure, maybe if he lines up out wide, he'll catch a couple strays from Sauce, but very, very seldom will that be occurring. Couple more here. Abraham Chavez, thank you very much. Says, full PPR, would you play St. Brown or Jonathan Taylor. All right, let me check my full PPR rankings. I'll tell you right now. In a full PPR scoring format, I have Jonathan Taylor at 16. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 17. So I played Jonathan Taylor there. Who does better rest of the season? Probably Taylor. Bang and Brass says full PPR. Who do I put in the flex spot? AJ Brown or Swift? I'd go AJ. Sorry, I'd go Swift there. Certainly. Ty says PPR pick one flex. Jacoby Myers, Deontay Johnson, Brian Robinson, or Goodwin. I'm going to go ahead and check this real quick. I'm fairly certain Jacoby Myers is going to be the guy, but he might be. Yeah, Jacoby Myers is probably going to get the. Where's Brian Robinson? Yeah, he's ahead of him. So yes, Jacoby Myers is my suggestion out of those mentioned players there, Ty. Thank you. Derek Brown says full PPR. Hunt, Cooks, Samuel. Out of those guys, I'd rather play Brandon Cooks, Curtis Samuel, than Hunt. And as for tight end, I'm absolutely playing Hayden Hurst over Kyle Pitts today. I did not ban Squid. We don't need to have an in memoriam for Squid. He's still alive. I didn't drop the hammer on him, but Squid's got to be careful, okay? Did I actually misread what you said? Maybe I was just looking to fight someone. I'm fighting ghosts now. Squid, let me check. If I actually misread it, then that's on me. I'm going to scroll up. I'll take my L. Where art thou? Where the heck is the message, man? Can I see it? Aha, you said the same thing. You know, I'm fighting ghosts out here, Squid. I'm fighting for my effing life out here. My apologies, Squid. You didn't deserve any of that, but you were right. You also said the same thing I just did. We're on the same page. Man, I'm almost... I saw red, dude. Squid, I saw the name. I saw the comment. You guys know how much I misread quotes anyway. So, anyway. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, so there's about 700 of us in here. I'm going to answer a couple more questions. If you guys could, click the like button down below. Let's go through this rapid fire. Vic84 says, full PPR. Thielen, Montgomery, Herbert, Reynolds, Campbell. Start Cousins or DJ? I'm going to start Cousins over DJ. I think DJ probably has more upside, but Cousins is a safer option considering the weather concerns. As for your flex and your wide receiver play this week, I'm going to play Thielen and Montgomery there. Vic, thank you. Blake Farber says, Stevenson or Swift in the flex full PPR? Full PPR, I think I'm probably still leaning in the direction of going Stevenson there. I think Jamal Williams will be more of an impact than Dameon Harris is this week. Ryan Rubio says, Paris Campbell, Amari Cooper, David Montgomery. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper there. DD says, Curtis Samuel, Garrett Wilson. No, I'm going to play Curtis Samuel 1,000% over Garrett Wilson. Thank you. Jacob Reiser says, would you drop Tony or Pacheco for Kieran Williams? I'd be willing to drop Pacheco there. Yeah. Zach says, full PPR, Kyle Pitts or Harrison Bryant? Harrison Bryant, full PPR is my suggestion. Ryan says, DJ Moore, Ayuk, or Gabriel Davis? I have Ayuk ahead of them all. Troy, I'll check that out in a second. Tom21 says, hey, bud, half PPR, Isaiah McKenzie or Van Jefferson? I probably lean in the direction of Isaiah McKenzie, mainly because I know Van Jefferson has the ability to go over the top, but it is very risky. There's a chance that, man, let me think about this for a second. I'd rather play Van Jefferson against the 49ers of all teams. Give me a moment. I'm actually curious. How much have they used Van Jefferson against the 49ers in years past? Against San Francisco last year, 3 catches for the 52, 40. No. Give me Isaiah McKenzie, just like I was kind of alluding to. Free Squid. Listen, he didn't get banned. He's still here. You can see his comments, man. He's still in here. I just saw red and I just went off. Lucas says, Pollard, Amari, or Boyd? I would 1,000% play Pollard. Again, there's a reason why he's on the thumbnail for today. I'm all in on Pollard. I mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. For those of you who are struggling to, come to the conclusion of wanting to play Pollard, here's the reason why I've come to the conclusion. These are the stats that have kind of led me in the direction of ranking him where he is. In his career, 2019 through 2022, whenever Pollard's been given 16 or more opportunities in a singular game, he averages 17.12 half PPR fantasy points per game. Anytime he's been given 14 or more touches in a game, he averages 16.03 half PPR fantasy points per game. The last time Zeke missed a game in his career, and the only time Zeke has missed a game during the regular season due to injury, 2020 week 15, Pollard produced 28.2 half PPR fantasy points in that game. 12 carries for 69 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 9 targets, 6 catches, 63 yards in that game where Zeke was missing. The Cowboys this season are running the ball 25.4 times per game on average, and the fact that Pollard has out-targeted Zeke 18-8 this season leads me to believe that there's a very good chance this guy runs the ball 18-plus times, gets himself 4 or 5 total targets, maybe a couple catches there, and when he does, goes for a massive game. Thank you. Alrighty, Derek Brown says Schultz or Hill. I'm fairly certain in a PPR I have Schultz ahead of him. As for Donovan Peoples-Jones or DK Metcalf, I'd like to roll with DK. If in fact DK is not active this afternoon, then you just pivot to Donovan Peoples-Jones for the Monday game. Let's see here. Why do you have Eno Benjamin? Why do you have Eno Benjamin? I have Foreman. I think you meant over Foreman, mainly because I expect Eno Benjamin in the matchup to get a little bit more upside. I know Foreman's a great play, but the Atlanta matchup isn't the greatest. Atlanta's been actually pretty stout against running backs. If Foreman is to fall into the end zone and Eno's not, then that obviously is going to be the biggest difference maker. But as of right now, I think Eno Benjamin's 3-down prowess and his guarantee for probably getting into the red zone, considering how many touchdowns they give to running backs on this team, is pretty stable. Gesicki or Harrison Bryant? Right now I have Harrison Bryant ahead of him, like it shows on screen, guys. Pickens or Myers? I prefer Myers. Let's see here. Okay, pick one, J-Rob or Dontrell Hilliard? J-Rob. Rest of the season, do you prefer J-Rob or ETN? That's not a question, right? Jaden, it's 1,000% ETN. Did you not see ETN just go for like 40 points today? Reynolds or Claypool? Reynolds. Brian Robinson or Pittman in a standard? Brian Robinson. What happened to Sutton today? I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I was answering questions. I honestly didn't watch the game. Jeff Blanton says, Devonta Smith or Tyler Boyd? I have Tyler Boyd ahead of him. Does me starting T. Higgins affect that already? No. I would still play both those wide receivers for the Bengals. Start 2, Hopkins, Adams, Higgins. I'm playing Hopkins and Adams. Who should I start? Eno Benjamin or D'Onta Foreman? Again, they're back-to-back in my rankings, Logan. If you want to play Foreman, by all means, go for it. I think that they're very similar in terms of their overall base floor of potential. So that's why I have them back-to-back ranked. So I think they're relatively close in terms of what they're going to be able to produce this week. Curious, Murray over Tua this week? Yeah, I do have Murray over Tua. Again, guys, the rankings are on screen. I have Murray as my number 4. If you are on mobile, or maybe you just can't see the rankings because you need glasses and you weren't able to go into the optometrist to get a checkup, there are rankings down in the description of the video. So just go down the description, open that tab, and scroll down. And the massive list of rankings are down there just to kind of have it a little bit clear, just in case you are not able to see that. Troy, did I get to your question or did I miss something? Troy says, Buffalo Wild... No. Listen, what is this? Buffalo Wild Wings or Wingstop? No, thank you. Papa John's or Domino's? No, thank you. KFC. I mean, the only thing out of that list is like Popeyes is king. McDonald's is always going to be king, especially McDonald's breakfast, man. That shit is too good. Let's see here where we at. Rodgers really not ranked? Yeah, I can't trust him. Not against Buffalo. I have a hard time. If you watched last week's game against Washington's defense, I have a hard time thinking they're going to find the end zone this week. Truly. Let's see here. Mike says, Swift or Olave full PPR? Swift. I'm fairly certain I have... Let me check. Full PPR ranking. Swift. I have Swift at 20. I have Olave at 21. So Swift is my suggestion there, Michael. Thank you. Ray McLeod or Mooney? I have Mooney ahead of him. Troy, no. It was the question about Jonathan Taylor. Oh. Look, Troy, you can't be spamming questions there, my man. Where's the Jonathan Taylor question? The guy in my league that has Taylor wants 2 starters for Jonathan Taylor. How do I convince him that he hasn't produced? He wants Barkley and someone. Yeah, no, he can go F off. Don't give him Barkley. I don't even prefer Jonathan Taylor over Barkley the rest of the season. So no, just give him a middle finger and keep moving, my man. Don't worry about it. The rankings are in the description, guys. If in fact you can't see them on screen. McDonald's is king in comparison. Jaden, he asked about McDonald's versus Jack in the Box. You tell me which one's better. All right. You tell me which one's better. That was a specific question. I don't mean it's king in comparison to everything. Absolutely not. What do you think I am? Like a filthy casual? What is this? Cortland Sutton, bro, what the F? I don't know what happened. Didn't even watch the game, Remy. I don't know. Think Metcalf and Lockett has higher chance of playing this week. I think Lockett probably has the higher chance of playing, most likely. Is AJ Dillon a drop now? If in fact you're not going to hold him for handcuff purposes, I suppose you could, but I think he's a really high upside handcuff. Beaver, you got to take it easy, my man. You might catch a stray, and the Autobot might ban you for saying stuff like that. Really, y'all like Jack in the Box that much, huh? Really, you guys must have some like gourmet Jack in the Box around you where you guys are at. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Good luck to you as well. Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's? I've never had Cane's. I don't even know if there's a Cane's in California. Montgomery, Brian Robinson, or Ellinger at the Superflex. I think I'd probably just play Ellinger there. Dustin. Every time finally not reading donation questions, he scrolls up. What are we talking about, Blur? Blur, where are you at? Did you have a question? Did you have a question, Blur? Let's see here. Blur says Reynolds or Claypool. I think Reynolds is on-screen ranked and Claypool's not, so that's where I would go. I'd go Reynolds there, my man. DK or Brian Robinson? Probably just go Brian Robinson. Pretty good to go. Let's see here. Gabe Davis or Tyler Boyd? I have Tyler Boyd ahead of him. Raising Cane's is the best? Really? I got to look into it then. I'm from the UK, so we don't have Jack in the Box XD. Okay. Got it. Traded Cup for Jamar and ETN. Let's hope Jamar's healthy. That's all we can say. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all joining us today. If you guys could do me a favor and leave me 15 more likes before you guys leave, that'd be greatly appreciated. That's all I ask for. If we can get to 500 likes by the end of today's video, that is all we need. Ron Burgundy says, thoughts on Malik Willis? I think the overwhelming majority of opportunities in that offense is just going to go in the direction of Derrick Henry in terms of the running game. So I am most likely leaning in the idea that at best, Malik Willis scores like 12 fantasy points in a 4-point per passing touchdown league. If he does somehow have a massive run for like 70 yards and a touchdown, then of course by itself, that is going to be 13 fantasy points, and everything else he does after this is fantastic. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a all Derrick Henry, all out game, especially considering the last 3 times he played against Houston, he's went for over 200 rushing yards in each of those games. So I'm expecting some good stuff there. I got Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. Should I trade one of them? No, why would you trade any of them, Eric? Unless you're going to trade Jonathan Taylor for like Saquon. That would be or Eckler. I don't think I would trade any of these guys. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys helping us get over 500 likes on today's video. Appreciate for those of you who sent in donations. Appreciate for those of you who just stuck by and obviously helped by answering questions in the chat. Squidward, I apologize for going after you. I think, I will repent. I'm going to go and I'll make it right by you, Squidward. No problem. All right. That's going to be it, guys. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go watch some games. Good luck, everyone. Hopefully we have some massive performances this week. And hopefully we end up winning our matchups. Of course, really, all I hope for, I'm okay with all my players playing terribly. I just need them to stay healthy. That's it. Health is wealth in fantasy football, especially with all these bye weeks coming along. All right, guys, we're cueing the music, and we're heading off. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.